I'm Alec Hanson, and we're here in Houston, Texas, about to spend the day in Katy with mortgage superstars Shawna Oakley and Chris Hibbing, a doubleheader. We're going to give them both a marketing makeover. This is brand new.
Look like it's time to rise and get in the game. Gonna change some branding, not afraid to fly. I can't even wait to finally touch down with the camera click. Let's light up that stage. Time to start your brand new golden age. It's your time to shine. Cameras on you. Brand new.
All right, we made it to Katy. We're here at Shawna's branch. Just can't wait to hang out with Chris and Shawna. They have no idea what to expect today. I mean, they know I'm coming, but they don't know what's going to happen. So, oh, there they are. We're already ready to go. What's up, guys? Get here. Good to see you, brother. Great to see you. Are you ready to go?
Welcome.
Are you ready?
I guess so.
Do you know what's happening here? No. Kind of. Okay, good. Keep that attitude. We're going to go right over there. We're going to meet around the corner, and we're just going to have a fun day.
Okay.
Trust me. Trust me. Lots of cameras, lots of fun. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's rock.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right.
Lead the way. We made it.
Yeah.
We're here. You're so happy I'm here. I can tell. I can feel the happiness about this amazing thing. Chris, Shawna, well, first of all, thank you for being brave enough to jump into some craziness, because there was 3 cameras right now, and so I can tell it's your dream come true. So we're gonna have this is gonna be a really, really fun day, though. Honestly, we've done this now 4 times, 5 times. This is our 5th time, right? 6. Wow. And so I've learned a lot, and it's gonna be a blast. So thanks for being vulnerable. Thanks for willing to come and do this. I think at the end of it, you're gonna be really happy. So today, before we start, because we're gonna end with filming content, we're gonna end with all this fun strategy. We've got to get foundational first, because one of the things that I found is that people rush into content creation or social strategies or all these type of branding strategies, and they don't do the early work, which is who are you? And what do you stand for? And who do you want to be? And how do you want to present yourself? So we're going to ask some questions.
Okay. I'm
just going to kind of go through some stuff. Now, you guys know each other, worked together for 3 years. So normally this is a one-to-one, but because we have both of you, feel free to be that's not true. or actually, I think about this with this. And feel free to just share each other's and how we're gonna do this, because I'm gonna ask you a question first, and I'm gonna ask you the same question, so you can think and be prepared. And then I'm gonna ask you the next question first, and then I'm gonna come back to you.
Sweet.
So that you each can, struggle on your own way. Well, let's start easy. Let's start easy.
Okay.
So, how long have you been in this lending craziness, Shawna?
22 years.
22 years. Chris?
7.
7 years. So in that time, have you helped some customers?
Yeah.
A few. Let's pretend I got a chance to have them all on a survey. And they're all going to complete the survey, and I ask them, hey, in 3 to 5 words, descriptive words, describe Shawna. What words do you hope they would say? When you read this, what do you want? What are the 3 to 5 words you'd want them to describe you as?
Knowledgeable.
Okay.
Personable.
Personable. Okay.
Transparent.
Okay. Give me 2 more.
You said 3.
I know. But I'm gonna give me 1 more.
Okay.
Knowledgeable, personable, transparent.
Honest.
I like that one. I'll take honest. Now, feel free to take some of hers, because everyone wants to be I don't want not honest. But Chris, tell me some of yours.
Educational.
Okay.
Transparent.
Okay.
Knowledgeable.
Yep.
That's the one. And then caring.
Caring.
And advocate.
Advocate. Why did you say advocate?
I think that buyers a lot of times are confused by the process, and so they feel like they need somebody that's looking out for them.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind what their goals are, and basically representing them through something that they don't fully always understand.
Yeah. I like that.
He's really good at that too.
I can tell. Did any more pop into your head while we talked? Any other words?
No.
All right. Okay. No.
You asked the question.
You told me one question. All right. So Chris, let's take a different direction. I see a ring on your hand. Are you married?
I am.
How long?
Wow, I wasn't ready for that.
So, yeah, hold on. She'll watch this later. 6 years.
Yeah, let's see. We got married in 2021. No, that's way wrong. 2017.
Okay.
Let's not keep that one in.
Yeah, we can edit that out. Cut that out. So, if we asked your wife to describe you, 3 to 5 words, what is she gonna say?
You might have to bleep this part out.
What would you hope she says? That's the better question.
I'd say hardworking,
I like that. Yeah.
dependable,
Good one.
and what else? We'll go with funny.
Okay. I'll take funny. Got any for me?
Yeah.
3 to 5.
Bossy.
Okay. Okay.
Caring.
Yeah, I like that.
And a leader.
I like that. Anything else?
I'm
okay with 3.
Yeah. I think that's all I got.
Okay. Let's go with your friends. Close
Okay.
friends.
Ooh.
What are 3 to 5 they would say about you?
Also bossy.
Okay. I feel the theme.
And definitely caring. Give your shirt off.
Yep.
You know, right? Detailed.
Oh, okay.
Got to have a plan.
A planner. Mm-hmm. Yep. Are you a planner? Mm-hmm. I like that. Mm-hmm. Chris? Friends.
Sarcastic,
Okay.
empathetic, and go with smart.
Okay. These are good. All right, so that's you got some good, like, full rounded pictures of kind of who you guys are a little bit. So let's kind of keep going down that path. And let's say let's talk about your value set, your value system, things that really matter to you. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you kind of a little bit of a back story on this, so you can kind of as you're thinking of how to answer this, I'll talk and prepare you. Normally between the ages of like 9 and 13, things happen in our lives that are very like defining for us as we grow. And in those times, formative times, we start to develop our value sets. We start to find things that either weren't there or were there that become really important to us. And then we start to live those things out in our lives. And maybe it's not 9 to 13, but it's when we're young. Mm-hmm. And so, if you had to say what professionally, personally, all of the above, like what are the things you value the most that you think are the most important, characteristics or ways to live or, kind of ways to exist? What are those to you? And we'll start with you, Shawna. And we can bounce around here, but
Yeah.
what are like the really important values to you? That
Honesty.
You're like, okay, I like that. And why did you say that?
I grew up in not such a great household where it wasn't an honest
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And so that quickly became something that was important. You
Yeah.
tell me the truth.
Absolutely. Tell me the truth.
Mm-hmm. Be
Is another one-
transparent.
Is there another one that stands out? Okay, that's kind of connected to transparent. I
Yeah,
like that.
it is.
Another value.
Loving.
Why is that important to you?
Same thing because
Sure.
of how I grew up. It was fight or flight. I was in my fight and flight mode, right?
Yeah.
And so I craved that.
Yeah. And you're creating that.
Yep.
Chris, any what values that stand out for you?
Family focused.
Okay. Why is family important to you?
I mean, it's the reason we do all this, right? Is that
100%.
As much as I love mortgages, it's not something I do for fun, right? It's all for taking care of the family.
Yep.
And I would say understanding.
What do you mean by that?
Being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes before you make judgments or decisions, right? Is trying to understand where others are coming from.
Why does that matter to you? Because that's really cool. Empathy and understanding. Why is that important to you?
I would say because I think it's more rare than it should be these days. It's a lot of times I feel like people don't stop to think about where the other side's coming from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Shawna, do you have others? Honesty, transparency, loving.
The understanding as well.
You
That was a
resonate with that?
Yeah, I do. So true. Which I think comes with transparency, right? Like being transparent
Yeah.
to be able to be understood, but then being empathetic on the other side, the receiving side.
Kind of ties to yours, right? It's part of being honest.
Yeah.
Like you can't understand where the other side's coming from if both sides aren't being honest.
Which is
Yep.
probably a foundation of our relationship too.
Yeah, there's some connection there.
Uh-huh.
Let's keep going down this path, which is the why we do what we do type thing, because you mentioned family first, and I think it's a great natural segue into this, because lending is not easy. It's very rewarding, as you guys know. You get to do a lot of impact, but Shawna, for 20 years, why do you stay in this crazy space? Why do you do what you do?
The reward of seeing families achieve the dream of homeownership for sure. But also personally, the winning, right?
Competitive.
Yeah.
Are you competitive?
Just a little.
Like that? Chris, what about you? Why are you still here in this craziness?
I think that, the winning I love to, and obviously supporting the family, but I'm really drawn to the puzzle of it, right?
Yeah, problem solving.
Each loan's different. There's never two identical situations, so every time you're kind of having to think on your feet, and I like to get creative and find solutions for people, and then like Shawna mentioned, the satisfaction of the buyers at the end.
Yeah,
for sure.
Anything else about why you're in this space?
Well, now it's me being able to create
Yeah,
that in other LOs, right?
Yeah, the whole legacy leadership,
Yeah,
passing down.
and seeing them win, and I feel very proud when I hear they're buying a new house or having children and expanding their family and winning.
Super rewarding. Chris, anything else resonate with you about why you stay in this crazy space?
I would also say the relationships, both within our team here, but also with our partners, right?
Yeah.
Builders, realtors, and kind of developing that trust is to me almost as rewarding as seeing the satisfaction of the buyer at the end of the process.
Yep. All right, so this was good work. I'm gonna put this aside for a second. Let us kind of get off the heaviness a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna do an exercise that I found really helpful in just kind of getting us thinking about branding, brand identity, because really, what we're doing, so you think of companies, they have brand identities theoretically, they're known for things. They speak a certain way, they act a certain way, and then as we kind of zoom that down and talk about personal brand, people get really confused because they're like, well, do I have to become simplistic? Do I have to become one-dimensional? And the reality is that no, you need to be a multi-dimensional human because humans connect with humans. But at the same time, you need to understand what you're trying to achieve and accomplish so that you can kind of stay focused. You see a lot of people in business growing their brand, but they seem very unfocused. They're talking about this, they're talking about this, they're talking about this, and you're kind of like, what the hell do you do?
Yeah.
I don't understand. And so you gotta be able to take your broadness of a human, which has all these different things you like and enjoy, and focus it so that when you communicate it, it's understandable. And brands do a good job of this, or good brands do. And so we're gonna do a little exercise to show you kind of how to start thinking that way, so that as we talk about defining this down into a who are you and what do you do, it starts to, you have another model to kind of interpret and work through that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I use this every time. Iconic Fox put this together. It's a brand archetype structure. And so I'm going to walk you through some of them.
Okay.
And get you thinking. And while I do this, I want you to be thinking about what what do I resonate with? Like, what do I feel like is kind of like me a little bit?
Okay.
And you can be multiple of these. You can have a dominant and a sub category. You can be all one. You can be multiple. So don't think you have, remember, you're still a rounded human.
Okay.
But this is a good process. So like, let's look at the outlaw.
Okay.
So the outlaw brands, our rules are made to be broken. They stand for disruptive, rebellious, combative. That's kind of how they talk and how they act in the marketplace. You don't have to settle for the status quo. Demand more. Go out and get it. And the fun one for me on this is Harley Davidson. Like, you can see the outlaw in the Harley brand, right? You can almost see their commercial or see somebody riding off in the desert on a Harley, and you're like, yeah, that person's a rebel. They're an outlaw, right? So then you have the magician. It can happen. They're this mystical, informed, reassuring, tomorrow is brighter than today, and all of your dreams can come true if you believe in it. And then you get like a Disney. And Coca-Cola is in there too, but I like Disney the most because it's very like, dream it, achieve it, transformative. And it's interesting, the magician in lending has a unique place for a lot of people because you transform things. You take somebody who wasn't a homeowner, and it's like your empty hat, and then you pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you do that? You're like, that's mortgage magic. So there's something there. Hero brands. Where there's a will, there's a way. Honest, candid, brave. We can make the world better. We have the grit and determination to outwork the rest. And of course, like the predominant brand in this category that people know is Just Do It, is Nike. You're the hero. Go after it. And so there's a lot of people that resonate with this because they're like, yeah, like I'm gonna help carve the way. I'm gonna be first into the breach. I'm gonna do all that stuff. Jester brands, fun-loving, playful, optimistic. People that want to here for a good time, not for a long time. These kind of people. And people like they don't take everything. It doesn't mean everything has to be a joke. It just means we can have fun in the process. So that's kind of a Jester brand. The everyman, belonging. You're just like me and I'm just like you. Friendly, humble, authentic. Think of like a Target or an IKEA where it's like, come on in. Like everybody's welcome here, and I'm not elite. I'm not any better than you. We're the same. And so there's an interesting connection to that of just like I'm here to help you, and I'm just like you. Right. The caregiver, or in the masculine tone, it's the protector brand, which is love your neighbor as yourself, caring, warm, reassuring. By the way, these are leadership brands too. Like, what's your leadership persona like? These people everyone deserves care, and we must strive to bestow service upon one another. When I did this with Phil Iosa out in New Jersey, he is the consummate like protector, caregiver, like the daddy bear.
I could see that.
Like, and then this is almost in contrast to the everyman, but you have the ruler. And this is brands like Mercedes-Benz or Rolex. These are authority brands. They can take on this idea of exclusivity. Like I'm not for you. I'm for these people. But at the same time, they can be somebody who controls the situation. They can have a plan. You can rest assured because the ruler has it. So people I don't want to. Commanding does not mean you're overbearing, but there's nothing wrong with that. So there's the commander. I skipped the lover because it's usually not mortgage related, but there is an empathy side in the lover, but it typically doesn't fit well in sales and finance. But that doesn't mean aren't people who are like this.
Yes.
But sometimes that they fall more easily into the caregiver than the lover. A couple more, just to give you some more ideas. The creator, Apple, innovation, sees potential everywhere and covers originality, inspirational, daring, provocative. The thing that I think people should connect to on creator in our space is this inspirational idea. Like you can become a homeowner. Like people that work with people with like bad credit tend to focus more on creator or magician. Because it's like inspirational, come with us. The innocent, again, this one's like the lover a little bit. It doesn't translate super well to like an intense environment like sales or mortgage. But you can see the angle here, what they're doing. Life is simple, honest, humble, optimistic. Dove is a good example of that. Sage, this is Yoda. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. this is the knowledgeable, the guide, the person that's going to that's going to help you on your journey. There's a lot of people that connect with this that are educational based, that are like, let me show you the way. I'm the wise old wizard, or I can help you understand how to do education. So you see things like Oxford University or BBC or Google. And then the explorer, which is don't fence me in. I like that. Exciting, fearless, daring. You can see like Patagonia or Jeep, outdoors and like just the brave new world and conquer new things. And so as you look at all these as just kind of a way to start interpreting different, like sinking down, I'm curious, like which ones did you immediately were like, oh yeah, that's part of me? So Chris, why don't you give me your thoughts? Which did you resonate with?
I would definitely lean towards the magician and sage, probably.
Totally thought about you. I'm the same.
Is that what you thought?
Yes.
The sage? Yeah.
Yes.
Shawna, which ones stood out to you that you were like?
It was kind of more of like what I'm definitely not.
Sure, start with that. What you're not.
Definitely not the outlaw.
Yep.
Not the lover.
Yep.
I want to be a caregiver, but I'm not the caregiver.
That's interesting, though. Why do you say you
disagree
want to
with
be a
that.
caregiver?
You disagree with that?
Yeah.
Really?
Why do you think you're not a caregiver? Why would you say I want this, but I'm not this?
I'm a get it done and like I'm make it happen, and I'm sorry if I step on your feelings.
Okay, because that's a little hero.
Yes, I thought about myself in the hero and the magician.
Okay. Also, get it done and step on your toes is a little outlaw. It is.
I'm not going to break the rules.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
good. So
Very much rule follower,
I'm very much a rule follower.
which goes well with the magician part of me.
you need a rule follower. You need a ruler.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to. I like to get outside the box, and so I think we kind of push each other's boundaries a little bit there.
For sure.
Well,
So interesting, right? Kind of helpful.
Yeah.
Kind of get your head thinking a little bit outside the box as you kind of put these things together. Okay, so let's do kind of because I have two people, I get to do something a little bit unique here, and I'm going to play with it. I haven't done this before, so keep it in. We'll see how it goes. So, Shawna, you said I'm just going to read back some of these things to you, kind of so you can sit in it. So, characteristics, traits about yourself: knowledgeable, personable, transparent, honest, bossy, caring, leader, caring, detailed, planner. Honesty and transparency, values that you really care about. Loving, understanding, empathy. You work with her.
mm-hmm.
Which of those resonates the most? Or if there's another word,
the honesty for sure.
in what way?
Well, Shawna's catchphrase here recently has always been the radical candor. And so
Radical
it's-
candor.
She reminds me of that all the time, especially in difficult situations, whether it's run into issues on the approval or something happened with one of our partners. Is it's just always kind of rip the Band-Aid off,
Yep.
and transparency is the best policy. So
Okay, I got honesty,
Definitely.
transparency.
that one, and then I would say caring, because I
Why?
think that it's very obvious to anybody that knows Shawna that she truly does care, and she's very genuine about it, and that's both, I think, looking outwards from a sales perspective, right, about our partners and those relationships and the buyers, but also especially for like our team.
Yeah.
She wants to get to know the family, and she genuinely wants to know like how you're doing and making sure that things are going well for you as an individual, not just kind of getting your numbers up.
I like it. All right, so we're going to reverse this now. So, Chris, educational, caring, advocate, hardworking, dependable, funny, sarcastic, empathetic, smart, transparent, you put down as well, knowledgeable, you put down as well, family focus, empathy, understanding others, what kind of some of the value stuff, problem solving, loves the challenge, finding solutions. What of those all kind of ring the truest to you, or stand out as the boldest for you?
Problem solver, smart.
Why were those first out of your mind?
Chris does a lot of turn down business from builders.
Yeah. So people that have been
Yes, difficult loans.
Yeah.
Right. Not a paper. And he cares. He will work that thing to death and find a way to get those buyers in a house, and gets great reviews because he's also very caring about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very smart because he can do all that, right?
Yep.
He digs. He challenges me every day on but it's great, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
He has made me step outside of my comfort zone in some of those ways of, hey, but the guideline says this. And I'm like, okay, all right, I hear you.
Interesting. I like this. Okay. So we're gonna go back to end this thing. We're gonna go way back up to like the big questions.
Okay.
So we've been down here with big questions. So I'm a big dork and nerd, and there's a great show on Disney Plus called Loki, which you may have seen it or not seen
Yeah.
it.
I've seen it.
You watched it? Okay. Do you see it or you just know about it?
I know who
Loki is. Okay.
Yes.
So what I like about this for this question is, he in the very beginning of his world, when he talks about how he has glorious purpose, which is to dominate and like take over everything. And at the end of his storyline, his glorious purpose is something totally different and self-sacrificial, and it's very fun and cool to watch it happen. So the big question is, at the end of it all, because we're not all going to make it out of here alive. What do you want your glorious purpose to be? What do you want to have happen to your mark on the world, to your family, to what do you want people to say? What is it for you? And obviously, it's a gigantic question.
Yeah.
It's super huge, and I think it's really hard to answer. And I think it's hard to answer in the moment because sometimes we're on our own journey and maybe we don't even know yet, and we're just trying to still figure that out. And that's an acceptable place too. So just kind of without trying to carve it into your tombstone today, but like what comes out when you're asked that question?
I'm totally the person who would love to see my own funeral, so this is interesting. I think I would want them to say I was there to be helpful and caring and made a mark in their life, right? Whether it's I did something, I was there to help them in a need when they needed something.
Yep.
Or I was a shoulder to cry on. That I was a good, true, genuine friend.
Love it. Chris?
Similar. I mean, I guess I'd kind of.
You don't want to be a crappy person. You'd like to be
Right,
a good
yeah.
person too. That's a good start.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everybody kind of
Uh,
wants that,
I mean,
right?
everyone has
Low-hanging
different
fruit.
opinions. You're surprised. No, I'm kidding.
I would say like impactful.
Yeah.
Right. Is like.
What does that mean to you though? Because there's different ways to be impactful, right?
Well, because I mean, we all work hard, right? And so you want to know that actually made an impact on somebody, and that it wasn't just going through the motions, and at the same time like giving across that caring feeling, right? Is that not only did you help somebody or you made an impact on their life, but that you were understanding and caring as you went about it.
Mm-hmm. Did it the right way, type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Genuine. I think I like that word too.
So let me tell you how we're going to use all this.
Okay.
The first thing that we'll do is we're going to kind of pull this into a format you can see again and read again and kind of have in front of you. And we're going to help write out some of this glorious purpose stuff a little bit so that you can reflect on it and think about it. Because when we start to translate that into, well, what am I going to do today? Right? Like this is out here, but like I have emails to respond to. I got kid issues. I got family issues. I got mortgage issues. I need Alec's going to make me film video. Like, how does this translate into that?
Yeah.
Right.
And what I really want you to sit on and focus on is your values are gonna help direct your message. Your values are gonna help direct your message. Your purpose is gonna help give you the willpower to do things that are uncomfortable. Because we all know, because we've been taught and told and we've lived it, that to achieve the success we want in business, to achieve interpersonal relationships we want, like it takes sacrifice, effort, hard work. You don't get it without all those things. But you need fire, you need a fuel for that. Like something's got to get you the motivation to go do that stuff, or else you just sit and don't achieve it. And that's going to come from just a deep, continual, like revisiting and sitting in the things that really matter to you, because you'll find two things. You'll find the power to do what you want to achieve, or you'll realize that the things you thought were your fuel that mattered aren't really what you care about. In which case you can go on this class to find what you care about and go into that place in the world. What's that quote? Like, you live two lives. You know, one is when you realize you're going to die, and that's when you start your second one. So this is why we do this in the very beginning of today, because we could have started with, let's talk about what content you're going to say, and let's talk about scripting, and let's talk about videos, and what's your brand online going to look like, and all this stuff. But until you sit in this and we go through this, it's like none of that stuff has its direction yet. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So we're gonna zoom out again, meaning we're gonna break down here, we're gonna go set up in there, we're gonna do a social media audit now. We're gonna look at all your stuff currently that's out in the world, and we're gonna start going, is it reflective of this stuff?
Right.
Like, we're gonna take like kind of an inventory. Like, you said you value honesty and transparency. Well, how is that showing up in what the world's seeing? And that gives us a chance to go to take a pivot if we need to refine, do all that fun stuff. So does that sound good?
Yeah.
We're set for the rest of the day?
Yeah.
All right, so because normally we do like graphic changes, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. We gotta go like this. 3, 2, 1, change! All right, we're ready for the fun stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's do
magic
it.
teleported from there to here, just movie magic, like, unbelievable. Took 2 seconds. Okay, so this is our social media audit portion, or our digital brand audit portion, where we take all that work we just talked about and we start to look at what the world's seeing, and we start to kind of have that like moment of like, are we showing what we want to show? And what I want everyone to understand in this process is you get the ability to curate what people see, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Or you can just let the internets put up whatever they think they find of you. And so it's this interesting situation. Yesterday, when we filmed with Melissa Guerra, there is somebody who is in Texas who is a Tex-Mex like chef named Melissa Guerra, who cooks and does social shows and like social media about her cooking. And so Melissa Guerra is like doesn't exist on Google because the chef does. And so you guys actually turned out great in the sense that like I typed your name in, I didn't need to type in mortgage, and boom, we found you guys. So you already got a head up, meaning there aren't other people, Shawna Oakley's or Chris out there competing for Google space.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's an advantage.
Okay.
So you can see just kind of looking at both side by side. Obviously, Loan Depot does a lot on the website to help you come up, number one. So you got kind of that popped up. Interesting, Chris, your headshots came up fast, and this is a call out I want to make for everybody that's maybe following along. The reason that these came up is because you're more active on these social platforms. And because you're more active, it pulls it in. And that's actually one of the reasons that social media helps brand acknowledgement or brand display, because the more active you are, the more it'll show up in a Google search. So just a little, and I wonder what the other 6 images are. Let's take a look. Okay, we got some. Is this you, Chris? No.
Nope.
But good stuff, right? Like this was all good. And then as we go down, Chris, we got LinkedIn coming up. We got Facebook coming up. We have some reviews you have on experience.com coming up. Again, more Facebook, more LinkedIn, et cetera. And then even TikTok's popping in. Pretty cool. And then even a Yahoo Finance article about you, which is pretty cool. And then on Shawna, on your side, right, we got Loan Depot, we got LinkedIn, Houston Agent Magazine. That's probably you in an article and something right there, which is cool. Instagram, pictures, Facebook. So all okay. Here's number one call out. So this is for our team to help you guys going forward. You got to build out a Google business page.
Okay.
And what that means is when you search for yourself on this window right here, this dead space right here, it will pop up your Google business address and your profile.
Okay.
Really, really important. It increases your searchability. It shows somebody that like if they're Googling you while they're talking to you, it's like, bam, here's this professional that has like their address, their website, their contact information, and this is the biggest call out too, Google business pages allow you to get reviewed. And in my opinion, and I've coached this 1,000 times, loan officers or people who are like, where should I get reviews?
Right.
I'm like, Google Business. The #1 search engine in the world is where you should be getting your reviews. Not on a competitor's website, not on Yelp, like on the #1 search engine in the world. And so that's one thing we can help you with. We'll get that built. We'll help you set it up. It's annoying they have to mail you something for verification. It's really, yeah, mail. Can you believe it?
No.
But that will help your profiles pop faster, gives you some opportunities, and then there's some strategies in there.
Okay.
So
I would want a separate one from like our branch.
yeah, you want your so effectively you're a Google business.
Okay.
Like you're the business. And so you want it to be about you, what's going on for you, and reviews for you.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Chris, let's take a journey here. All right. Facebook. So easy call outs, easy fixes, right? When I see this profile pic right here, I don't see Chris. Now, by the way, let's level set. We're talking personal Facebook pages,
Yeah.
right? We're not talking business pages. And the reason we need to talk about personal pages is because they're not personal and private anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we live in a public world now, social's public, everything's public, and so what we have to be aware that my customer or my recruit or whoever, my partner, is looking at this.
Yeah.
And so, in the past of like the MySpace days, like we didn't care. It was like our friends and whatever, but now in this world, it's like, oh, I actually think I need to care. I need to look at it.
Right.
And I need to make sure that what shows up there is what I want. And so, Chris, for you, by the way, notice your head's cut off in the banner. It's just a formatting issue. This is a cool picture. Like, if I click it, it'll load at some point, I believe. That's a cool picture. I like it. And I like your intent of like, this should be my banner. This is amazing. But then you realize when you look at it in this format, you go, oh, my head got cut off.
Right.
And so now what people are seeing is you cut off head. Right? And then in this picture, this is a cool picture. It's adorable. But I can't see you because I assume you're the hugger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to hide my face.
You're successful. You did it. Accomplished. So that's the first critique is we want to curate this more. Showing family is fantastic. So we can talk about this too on a macro level. Should I show my family? Should I not? Should it be all professional? Should it not? And my commentary is you should show your authentic humanity as much as you're comfortable.
Okay.
Meaning sometimes like a very personal family picture, if you're like, no, that's who I am. Like that, this is my family. I'm proud. Then don't yes, show that. You don't need to be suited and booted on your personal Facebook page, but you do need to be recognizable, so somebody can be like, oh, that's the same person.
Right.
And so we'll help clean up some of these stuff. Now, I noticed that you say works at Loan Depot, which is great, but you did the thing that I always love, which you said, actually, no, I work at my business page. See, this is the thing people mess up on. If I click this, it goes to Loan Depot's page. That's fine in all intents and purposes, but like I left Chris's world now. I'm not in your world anymore. I'm in Loan Depot's world. And what we really want is we want them to come here.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we want. Now, there's a challenge with business pages. The challenge with business pages is no one wants to like a mortgage business page for somebody else. None of us do. Like, we don't want to.
No.
And we're in the business.
Right.
So it's really good to have one. You need one. It differentiates yourself. And it's really useful if you want to turn into some advertising later. And that's where the power of this can really come with paid advertising. In the meantime, it needs to look good, do good, and do its job, but it's hard to grow. Whereas your personal page is very easy to grow. If you want to play with this strategy. So you can have 5,000 friends on Facebook. So we're going a little down the rabbit hole, but it's good for you to think about to develop your own strategy. And in this strategy, you could choose to put all your past clients and business partners inside this field. As opposed to, I connect with friends and family, which you can still do. You can say, no, I'm going to actually use this as a tool to stay connected to my past clients, and I'm going to send them friend requests because I want to be in their life more relationally than just sending them an e-blast once a month. So if you decide that you want to use this as that kind of a tool, you can, and it's great for that. Because if I send you a friend request and you accept, we're connected. If I send you, here's my business page, will you like it?
Right.
They're like I'm not interested.
For sure.
So it's your thought, it's your own, like, you're in control of how you want to play this out. But my personal recommendation is that you use it as a tool for human connection, not just as a place to store for friends and family. But everyone's got to find their own path in that. But regardless of if you use it as a tool and you start connecting to past clients, you're connecting to business partners, you still want it to be representative of your brand when somebody is Googling you and clicks through.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. And so there's other stuff we can do. We can do featured posts if you're going to use this as a tool, so that you can pin something to the top here, so that every time someone comes here, it's the first thing they see, which could be like an about you video or something that you're proud of in your business. So there's micro strategies inside here.
Okay.
But we're staying up here for now, which is let's get the brand image where we want it to go, and then let's decide, do we want to use this as like a business development CRM connection tool, or do we just want to keep it kind of over here as a friends and family thing?
Right.
Make sense?
Yep.
So Shawna, let's peek over here. Bam. So you get the same thing. You cut people's heads off. You guys are
Yep.
murderers over here, just slicing heads. But super cute, right? What a cool picture. But when someone looks at this, bap, that's what they're seeing.
Yeah. Oops.
And then here, I recognize you, right? So, but it's up to you on kind of how you want to show this. But I mean, it's fine. I could see you. You're obviously happily married. At least you're pretending to be. It's great, right? But same issue, right? Works at Loan Depot. But again, I'm not going to critique too heavy because my comment is, if you're going to use it for business and connection, then you're going to want to have this connected to your business page and change the look and feel. If you're like, Alec, I don't really care about that, then we're just going to be talking about, is it representative of all the values you have, and how do we mess with it? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Definitely
I
wanna use
know you're both using it for business, because look, Chris, you're sharing some stuff from your business.
Right.
Here's more from business. Then there's family stuff, and then same with you, Shawna. We obviously were just here yesterday. There's my dumb face. So you're definitely using it for business and for personal use. So my recommendation is go in on a tool, use it as a tool.
Right.
Expand it to find your past clients. Expand it to find the recruits in your marketplace. Expand it to find the realtors and homeowners, home builders, and just start building your group.
I'm in.
So let's spend 2 seconds on a strategy to grow social, and then we'll continue on with the audit. We
Okay.
talked about this literally yesterday. It's ICE, right?
Yep.
So part of the work on social is making sure that the community you're building are the people you want to influence and stay connected with.
Okay.
And so you guys have, Shawna, you have 998 friends. Chris, you have 900 friends, right? How many past clients do you have? How many partners, builders, and top realtors are here? Hundreds. How many recruits? Hundreds. The opportunity here is just to go, okay, let's identify the list. Let's every day add 5. Let's do the grind work, or just force someone on your team to do it. Here's my list. I want you to go find 5 and friend request them. But that's the work that you turn around and you got 4,000, 5,000 connections to the people you want to influence. Now you have a megaphone.
So I should even go back to my old customers,
I mean,
though I don't originate
it's
anymore?
all about who you want to stay connected with.
Yeah.
So if you went back to your old customers, even though you're not originating, guess what? You might get loans.
Yeah.
You might be posting stuff, and they may be like, Shawna, can you help me? And now you can hand that to someone on your team. Now you're the golden ticket.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
So you get to play with this.
For sure. Okay.
But this is the power of this stuff.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the power is not in the grind. The power is in the end result. When you have 4,000, 5,000 of the connections you want, rates go down, and you put a call to action out, and the doors flood open.
Yeah.
This is the power. So okay, let's check out. Let's keep going here. So Shawna, business page, and I got Chris's business page, right? So easy stuff to fix. First of all, headshots are great. You look professional. We talked about this. Tie, no tie. What's my vibe? That's something that you're wrestling with right now. And I would tell everybody, show up in your headshots the way that you would show up to a customer face to face, in your most authentic self. So it's probably not a wife beater, but it may not be a suit and tie anymore.
Yeah.
But if it is a suit and tie, there's nothing wrong with that. Where I want to protect it is when I go back from personal to business. I don't want to feel like there's such a huge gap between these two people.
Right.
I want those people to become closer together in their authentic self. I don't want to see a big gap.
Yeah.
And so, but that's a challenge, because we've been told professionally, we were joking about this, like I was 3-piece suit guy for so long, like 3-piece suit, like all the time. And then over time, I'm like, I just felt kind of like I was faking it more. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
And it just felt less like me.
Yeah.
But that's a journey.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like I've almost intentionally tried to create that gap.
Yes.
Right.
Which is what people do in their life. And so you don't have to take my opinion as gospel here. It's just an opinion for you to see how you want to live your life. But I think that that when people start to create that separation from like my humanity to my work, like my work face and my life face, I'm going, well, my personal paradigm, people do business with people they like, know, and trust. If you're just, not this is you, Chris, but if you're a stiff suit, maybe you're not that relatable to me anymore. Maybe I'm looking for somebody that like I can relate to. Or you say, no, look, I'm a professional. What I do, I show up every day like this because it's a respect for you. I don't show up this to be unapproachable. I show up this because this is how I honor my craft, and this is the respect I show my work. And so when I come to work, I'm here to work, and I put a tie on. Both of those are great. You can see like both of those have their angle.
Sure.
You just got to make sure that as you're moving through your career, you're finding out what's the most true for you, and not doing it because a business coach in the '90s said, "Put this on," which was what I was doing.
Yeah.
All right, other small fixes. The banners. Hibbing team. So we got a little bit of personality coming through, right? So I got a little bit of a brand like connection here. Shawna did the same thing a lot of people does. It's just you take the company banner and you slap it on.
Yep.
But this is the best example of going back to your value set and your purpose set. Purpose that I need to see it. And when I see this, I can't see it. I can't see your humanity. I can't see your values. I can't see what you stand for. I just get this kind of whitewashed banner. And so we're gonna mess with that. The team's gonna come through. They're gonna take the stuff. They're gonna work with you, and they're gonna put some life into it. Okay. And life really just means you. I need to put you into it.
Do you keep a business page if we're gonna focus on the personal page being?
Such a good question.
Because I don't manage that page well.
So there's 2 strategies with your business page. Number 1, set it and forget it. You should have one. It shows that you have some intention behind your life. It's like having a Google business page. Like, I am here, and that's okay. And then it should reflect your brand values, it should reflect you, and then if it's not managed, then that's fine. The long-term goal with a page on this kind of stuff is if you can start getting your past clients and 5,000 people to like it, you can start using it for strategic advertising, and you can start using it for like a powerful tool to wield in the marketplace. But for some people, that's like phase 5.
Okay.
We're still here in phase 1, which is like a banner, right? So which is cool. So I think that it's okay to be in phase 1.
Okay.
Let's make it have your brand values show, and then let's decide if we want to dig into it later.
Okay.
There's so much to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes we lose focus.
Yeah.
All right. So let's keep moving. Instagram, bam. All right. So
I tried.
we're gonna fix this up. We got you. We got you. Obviously, Instagram's a very popular platform.
Right.
Your past customers, your referral partners, your friends and family, the people you want to influence are probably on Instagram. And if you did the ICE method every day and you grabbed the 5 names and you went into Instagram and you dropped them in, I bet you're going to start seeing those people on these platforms.
Okay.
And so this goes back to where should I be and what should I post? And my answer to that is where's your community that you're trying to influence? If they're there and you want more opportunity in business and reach, you got to be there. And so you should learn that as you start icing every day. You'll find like, hey, oh my God, they're not on TikTok, they're all on Instagram. Okay. Now we know like that's a platform I got to start focusing on.
Okay.
So we'll play with that. But same things, we got the headshot, right? So we have an opportunity to get the headshot to line up so that we can make sure we see who we're seeing. We have some stuff we can put underneath your name, so like links and descriptors and bios that our team will come through and help you do.
Okay.
So you can get a little like, oh, okay, Shawna believes in this stuff. Like, cool. And here's a link to some stuff that she's into. Great. You can actually pin some posts. You can pin the top 3. So that means you can put there what you want people to see first, which is great. So we can argue and decide what that is, but maybe it's an about you video, maybe something you're proud of, maybe it's whatever.
Right.
Pin those up there. There's lots of micro strategies from stories we can talk about later, but we're in phase 1 still. And then when we get into the what do I say part, then we can start pushing forward on it.
Okay.
But what do I say and posting content has to go hand in hand with you growing your network on these platforms.
Okay.
If you have no followers and you make content every day, nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if a tree falls in a wood, right? It's the same principle.
Okay.
But I would argue that you'll find that this platform is a big opportunity.
Okay.
All right?
So too.
So we'll get that moving in the right direction. LinkedIn. Bam. All right, so we're picking up vibes of the Facebook business page, which is okay, because
For sure.
Yeah, we got the same banners, same headshots, all that good stuff, right? Lots of areas here to have fun with. So, for example, our titles. Titles don't tell me who you are and what you believe in and what you value. And nobody really cares about your title except for us. Like, we care about our own titles, but people want to care, they only care about what you care about. They want to know what you care about. And so we got to play with that with the titles.
Okay.
What should go there? Well, probably things that reflect your values before we say, have you guys seen The Golden Circle by Simon Sinek? Where he talks about most companies spend time talking about how they do it or what they do,
Yeah.
and not
why
they
what.
do it.
Yeah.
When you talk more about why you do things versus title and how and processes and tactics, you'll find a lot quicker human connection chance. And so that's what we have to showcase here, right? We have no bio. We got to have a bio where you talk in first person about why you do what you do. You can have a featured post again on this. So again, the first thing people can see and check out when they come visit here. And then you can, down here with what you do, right? So this part, at Loan Depot's retail division, we understand. But by the way, we can all laugh at this because everybody I know does this.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like abnormal. Like, everyone takes the boilerplate BS, Loan Depot address, not even your address here, blah, Seymour, blah. Oh, I was told I had to do this. And I doubt you even did this. Did someone do this for you?
Either that or I copied and pasted.
Yeah,
it.
absolutely, 100%. Right. So we get to, you can actually put a video here.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, that talks about, so I let's just do this.
Wow.
This is like, it's not about me, but we're gonna go to mine. So obviously I'm seeing the behind the scenes look, because I'm logged in as myself. But you can see the banner talks about what I'm trying to accomplish in the world. It says, hi, I'm Alec, nice to meet you. Here's my featured stuff. Then here's my activity, which you guys can see right here. But then as you go down here, there's a video, let's talk CMO.
Oh, wow.
As the CMO. So you see the difference that these things look like to this?
Uh-huh.
So that's our opportunity for LinkedIn, is just to make it look like more about you, more you. I need to see more Shawna, I need to see more Chris. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, YouTube.
Bro.
I don't, is this you, Chris? I don't think it's
Yeah.
you. It is you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Smith and
Wow.
Wesson, baby. Smith and Wesson. So, you want to come on camera? Come on in. We're filming. We're live. We are.
Yes.
Keep it in. So, YouTube, second largest search engine in the world. By the way, Shawna, I found a bunch for you. So this is you, but this is also you. So I'm just going to click one. See where we go. Let's go. Let's click this one. Hey. So this is normal to have multiple YouTube things because people set up different profiles. In fact, I'm surprised. A lot of times I see different profiles. Like Facebook, they have 4 profiles. So it's just, you got to audit. You got to audit it. That's what we're doing. And then the ones you don't like, my team will come through. We'll kill them.
Okay.
The ones you like, we'll start building it out. But obviously, you need a banner. Okay, so because this is we're going to do this, I hate myself. Okay.
Wow.
Shut up. So, same type of thing, right? Shawna's page currently, opportunity. Banner, more personality. Hey, thanks for like write stuff, more links to stuff. Like it just starts to build out more of a presence. And the power of this is YouTube, I really want you to understand it this way. It's your library. It's where you put all your books. And so sometimes you go pull those books off the shelf and you give them to other people. I mean, how many times do you answer the same question to the same clients over and over and over again, right?
A lot.
How many times, if you're recruiting somebody, are you like, let me show you some stuff, and you walk people through this list of like tech, blah, 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 culture, and you just, this is the process. All that stuff we would call evergreen content, meaning it can live for a long time. And so your opportunity is to start building out that in your YouTube strategy. So for example, if you work with someone who buys a new construction, what do they need to know? That sounds a lot to me like a playlist.
Yeah.
Make me a playlist of the top 10 things someone needs to know before buying new construction. Make me a playlist of the top 10 things a first-time homebuyer needs to know before they go out and start shopping for a house. This is amazing stuff that you could do right now. Like, and we're gonna do it later. Like, I could put you on camera and be, assuming that didn't freak everybody out, and be like, what should a first-time homebuyer know? Let's talk about, like, what should they know about credit? And you could just be like, blah, like, so you know this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just about getting your thoughts in line, carving time, building it out. We talked about this in the meeting yesterday, but that explaining the CD video that Stephanie girl does, like she has a video on, let me explain everything that you need to look at when you're looking at a CD. Closing disclosures, look, they're a government document, they're oppressive, they're confusing. Here's 5 minutes, I'm just gonna walk through each of these sections. And she has like 70,000 views on this video because customers go to YouTube and say, how do I understand my CD? Or how do I make sure I'm not getting ripped off because my loan officer's not explaining it to me? And she gets like 5 loans a month from people who are like, I watched your video. So that's your opportunity, and that's what we need to use this space for. And again, this is like, we're gonna talk about this, but you should have playlists for new construction, first-time home buyer, VA, FHA loans, renovation loans, maybe reverse loans, maybe USDA loans, like whatever, like all of a sudden now that's like 7, 8 playlists, 10 videos, that's 80, 90 videos, and now you're overwhelmed. But if we start putting this into bite-sized pieces, we can combine our social strategy with content we're posting there by making content we're gonna be storing on YouTube and starting to just chunk it down. Because the goal is to get to the promised land where you have a fully like built library with resources and information where we could say to realtors or home builders, hey, I have a top 10 list of videos that we should send to everyone that walks through here. They should scan the QR code and watch it at their leisure and get all their questions answered because I know they're gonna ask these same questions. So now when you go in and you talk to a new partner or a new customer or a new realtor and you're like, let me tell you what I did. Like, this is my library. And it's you talking. So it's so you're the expert. You're building that influence. This to me is an and you'll show up in search. Like you'll start getting like organic opportunity because people will be like, well, how do I do this? And it's like, well, your video pops up. It's like, damn, there's Chris.
So do you have to do something special on YouTube for your videos to start popping up?
So phase 2
okay.
involves
I love to jump
like
ahead of the phases.
Yes,
don't
I love it. But phase 2 involves like tags, which is like putting like first-time homebuyer into like, well, it's basically describing what this video is about.
The hashtags?
Yes, so YouTube knows how to present it to other people. So you're like, hey, this video has these 30 things inside it. So now when someone's searching for those 30 things, it's like, well, this video has these and it's more likely to bring it into the search.
Yeah, okay.
But we also have to talk about thumbnails in YouTube. Thumbnails are what catches people's eye and makes you want to watch something. So thumbnails are very important. So if I search for how to buy a new home, these are thumbnails. 10 steps to buy new construction homes. Buy this. Like 7 tips for getting the best deal on construction homes. So the thumbnail is like, which one would I click here?
Yeah.
What's most interesting to me? New construction, which is better? See, look at all these. Look, we're gonna make this guy's face is so good. I'm like, this is the guy I'm clicking on because I like more of a goofball. But that's
Right.
so this is about your own personality showing through. So we're gonna build this together. And look, I'm just gonna go to this guy's site. I don't know, best Austin realtor.
Austin, Texas. One of the fastest growing cities that people like Joe Rogan.
So I don't know who William is, but look at what he's done with his platform, and this looks like a real someone who knows their stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get there.
Okay.
All right.
Love
Baby
it.
steps. But
Yep.
we're gonna get there.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk Twitter. Are either of us on Twitter?
No.
Is this you, Chris? Are you suspended?
I don't know why, but I also don't use it, so there's nothing to see anymore.
So the reason I've showed this is not that to tell everyone you have to be on Twitter or X. You don't.
Okay.
Again, going back to my ICE thing, you need to find out where your audience is and your community is. That's where you need to go play. YouTube, yes, sorry, got to have a strategy. X, pick your poison.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you got to be on every platform. I don't agree with that. People make millions of business opportunities on one platform. You don't need to be on every platform.
Okay. Good.
So I'm just using this as an example to say, the one space you could consider is just the set it and forget it mode, where you put a nice banner up, you put a nice heading up, you get a description of yourself out, and you say, I'm just here for the drama and I'm never tweeting. And then so somebody who finds that, it's like, okay, that's kind of funny. And but they know there's nothing there for them to see.
Right.
So it's almost like just planting your flag.
Okay.
Like I took my territory,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not living here.
I like
So
that.
Makes sense.
there's
I like
that strategy that you can
Okay.
play with. TikTok. I don't think you're on. Are you on TikTok, Shawna?
I am.
Do you know
but
your-
I
do you know
just
your
signed
handle?
Up. Don't know how to use it yet.
Chris, is this you though?
Yeah.
So you're
I use it, but I don't post.
great, absolutely.
I don't even know. How do I tell you what my handle is?
Here.
Oh,
Shawna Oakley, 1974.
yeah. I don't like.
Oh, it's that second one.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even create that. Definitely wouldn't put my
Found
where
it.
I was born.
So. No comment. You can change your handles and usernames to anything you want. It's amazing. But one of the thoughts on that, especially for Twitter or X and this, is your handle should be reflective of your brand.
Yeah.
So it can be your name. That is your brand. Your name is your brand. But it could also be your name and like Mortgage Pro. It could be name and whatever. Like whatever you kind of want it to be. That way it's more easy for people to find you because I searched for Shawna Oakley. You see how many there were? So if I'm looking for you, it'd be like Shawna Oakley, Mortgage Badass or Mortgage Boss. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So my only thought on kind of going back to this what platform should I be on thing, where's the opportunity? You know, if I had the stack rank opportunity right now on platform, it's going to be like the top 3 are YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I think those are the top 3. And I would put LinkedIn actually up there as another massive one, but you're already on there. So we just need to get your strategy going there. On these where you're not really there,
Right.
I would say that like those are the platforms to really start playing in.
Okay.
I wouldn't put Twitter up there. But the reason I'm mentioning this is like TikTok has such insane algorithmic reach right now. Like you can make huge impact repurposing content you're already doing
Yeah.
onto that platform, because content you make for Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts 100% can be a TikTok. And so in phase 1, you can make content and just share it on all the platforms.
Is there a way to
Okay.
do it like Kristen was asking yesterday, where you push one button and it goes? I know
There
Instagram
are-
and
we'll
Facebook
get to the
you
tools,
can?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Phase 1 is really building your strategy, deciding what you want to put your time behind,
Okay.
and then going, okay, let's go get the tools to execute my plan on this.
Yeah.
Right.
But a lot of great opportunity. And so we're going to come through and we're going to help reskin. We're going to put your soul and your personality into this stuff. We're going to help these places pop. And then now when your online brand or you're Googled, you're going to show up the way you want to show up.
Perfect.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Questions?
So cool.
Thoughts?
No, I'm excited.
Ready to go?
No. Yeah.
All right, we got to do our transition.
Okay.
Awkward transition time. 3, 2, 1. Ha ha! We're flying today. This is good.
Yay.
It's just efficient. I'm just happy. All right. So from a progressive standpoint, we've talked about values, purpose, the things that really light you up, the things you care about. We kind of looked at an opportunity to how to express that on social and where the opportunity lies, and where the team's going to rally around that. Now let's talk about what we're doing to move our businesses forward and all that stuff.
Okay.
So this is going to be kind of I call it marketing mayhem, but we're gonna talk through what you do every day, and then what that levels up to, what your objectives are to drive your business forward.
Okay.
So kind of like I was describing earlier, if we took your business plan and we opened it up to your marketing strategy section, that's what we're going to go through today. And I like to carve it up into some simple boxes that help me understand things a lot easier. So the first box is partners.
Okay.
Right? Our partnerships. And that could be, obviously for you, home builders, realtors, referral sources.
Right.
It can be high-level partnerships that you work with and manage and prospect and bring in, and it can be recruits that you're growing towards. So it's all the marketing activities you do to get new partners and to maintain your existing. Make sense?
Yes.
So Chris, we'll start with you. What do you do on a monthly, weekly, daily basis let's talk about maintain existing partners first versus prospect new partners.
Okay.
So what's your life look like?
Let's say it's probably not very consistent.
Excellent.
Or
good start. Honesty is the good start.
But existing partners, I mean, doing weekly status reports.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of managing the pipeline, talking about prospects and scenarios. Go out as frequent as possible and actually visit the communities and the salespeople.
All right, so we're drill down on that.
Okay.
You're going to hear me talk about this a lot, and it's not a catch. But I'll describe things as like, are you doing it organically or are you doing it strategically? Organically is, shit, I haven't been out there in 2 weeks. I got to go tomorrow. Strategically is, every Wednesday I go out to the community. So, are we more organic?
We planned strategically.
We plan. Good. We have a plan.
But we practice organically.
Okay, so what does the organic look like? How often do you think you're going out there a month?
It depends on the month, but I'd say probably once, twice.
And how often do you want to be going out? What's the plan?
Ideally, once a week would be ideal.
Cool.
2 times a week.
Okay, excellent. The boss came in on that one. Do you guys feel the boss come flowing through? It was great.
I get the bossy
Yeah.
characteristics.
Let's go back to value.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got business as usual stuff, which I define as like my status meetings. Those are weekly, right? And those are non-negotiable, I'm assuming. Yeah, those happen once a month. You're getting out to the site,
Right.
bringing cookies and love type thing. Yeah. Anything else?
Sales meetings.
Sales meetings.
So
with
they're
builders.
hosting sales meetings, and once a month.
That's going to be more irregular because we're
Yeah.
not.
It's
we
on their
don't-
schedule.
We'd like it to be quarterly that we could attend, but we're at their mercy.
Oh, so they're doing sales meetings and they just invite you when they want to.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Because every once in a while we'll come in and present about a specific topic
Yep.
or just. Yeah.
All right. Anything else on that front?
I think that's
Okay.
probably the majority of it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know what BAU means. Like when you're in business with somebody, you have a lot of constant communication. So
Right.
you don't need to necessarily be marketing and prospecting somebody who you're talking to every day. But to your guys' comment out earlier about like the pop-ins, like yeah, okay, maybe we could add something more strategic there. Any realtor strategies that you do to cultivate existing relationships? Great.
Not particularly.
Good. We're rocking. Any other strategic business partners out there? Financial planners, divorce attorneys, anything kind of
No.
weird? Okay. All right. Shawna, let's go. What do we got?
So my marketing strategy is the management teams of the builders
Yeah.
that we work with.
Yep, those are your contacts. Yep.
And I'd like to touch them on a monthly basis. I don't currently.
Organic.
Yes.
They can be hard to pin down. too.
Of course.
They
But
can.
look, like we're honest, like when you're hunting or trying to deepen relationships or whatever, like you're coming into somebody's existence and interfering. So I understand. Okay, so you have a desire for one times monthly. It happens more infrequently.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else strategic going on? Recruiting?
Recruiting, yes.
What's your what is it?
So it's organic.
Yeah, I got yep. Check.
I recently just started this group though of it's like top producers, where Chris is actually involved too from us.
Like a networking group?
Yeah, well, ish. We're gonna meet quarterly.
Okay.
We had our first one to talk. The topic was the NAR situation, and from that, they all decided we need to get together on a quarterly basis and strategize and just talk.
Okay. So these are top producers at random companies
Yes.
around here, right?
Yes.
And just like peer to peer
Yes.
type connection.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Yep. So that's something strategic.
Yep. Do you have any? Are you making any outbound phone calls?
Yes.
How many a week, month?
I would say weekly, at least 5.
Okay. Organically. Yes.
Yes.
Not like there's a sheet that you check 5 boxes on. It's just like yeah, I understand. Okay, and so 5 times a week, great.
And then I like to, my goal is 1 time a week face-to-face meetings.
That's your objective. Yeah.
Yes.
Face to face.
Which this week I had 3, now it's 2. So
Yeah,
I
that's how
canceled,
the world
but
works. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Any other recruiting activities that is like weekly or monthly? Like this is what I do. Okay.
No.
Nailed it. Now let's move on from partners and recruits, and let's talk about our past clients. Okay. Chris, I'm going to come back to you to start because this is more specific to you. What are you doing with your past clients on a monthly basis to stay in contact?
Nothing except what the automatic campaigns are.
Auto drip campaign, yeah? Kind of. You said that with a question mark.
Yeah.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Because to be honest, I don't know exactly what they're doing.
Yes, exactly.
I just know
Okay.
that they're kind of in the
Question.
background going.
Birthday, loan anniversary, all those things.
Okay. So what we're seeing here is opportunity.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure.
Now, we mentioned you have a lot of past clients, even though you're not producing anymore.
Correct.
So when we get to what we want to maybe do, maybe there's a space there for you to feel like
think so.
let's play there. Okay. Because I assume there's nothing else happening with it because you're not.
Just the CRM campaigns. Those, I still get the thank you for the birthday emails and
Okay.
that.
All right. Next area I like, local. So you guys live here. You have friends and family and community here. Are you doing any, quote, local marketing? Which would be like I advertise at the senior center, or I host an Easter egg hunt, or I, whatever. Anything local that you do to get your brand out. I'm on a bus stop bench, like anything like that.
Nothing.
I sponsor my brother-in-law's charity event once a year.
Yeah. Sponsor charity, good. What's the charity?
Greater Things.
What do they do?
They help families go through the adoption process.
Rad. Any organizations besides women that you're involved with?
GHBA.
JHBA?
GHBA, Greater Houston Builders Association.
JHBA, women. Any other orgs?
We did Habitat for Humanity.
We did do Habitat.
But is that like your thing, or is that
No,
okay?
that was
It just came in and
corporate.
came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of talking on like your thing.
HMBA,
What's that?
the Houston Mortgage Bankers Association.
Okay.
I'm got involved this year.
Okay. And you go to these things like regularly, like whenever they're up. Are they quarterly? When are they about?
Yeah, usually quarterly. Women's quarterly, GHBA. We'll do SMC events. That's kind of hit or
Maybe
miss.
twice a year, if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you're involved in outside of work? Organizations?
Not really, no.
Excellent. Social media.
Well, we just saw that.
So, I obviously it's all organic, right? Like, but
Yes.
What's your process on when to post and what to post today? Like, Chris, walk me through, like, in your mind, like when do you think about it? How does it come up?
It's usually crap I haven't posted in 3 weeks, so let me queue up a bunch of them.
You know what? Similar vibe or different?
Similar.
Yeah. See, this is so good. Just take a moment and just sit with this because you're highly successful humans. Like, I mean, highly competent, successful humans. And I'm giving hope to everybody else out there who's like, man, I got to do so many things. I got to do and I'm like, no, you just got to work really hard and you can reach really big levels of success. Now it's just like opportunity. You know, do we want more? How do we want more? What do we want to put on top of this? You know, and it doesn't mean we build out a plan for all this and we just go nuts. It just means how do we take smaller steps in the directions we want to go that feel really good. I mean, you can make $100 million a year business on like local events. Like you don't need to do everything. So let's find out what's best, what's most fun for you guys.
Okay.
So let's go through this and look at opportunity. So from a partnership perspective, so here's some thoughts for you to jot down and just kind of roll around with, right?
Okay.
The theme that, especially with your team too over time, like the theme of how do we take things from organic to strategic in little baby steps is what moves the needle. When things become intentional and not just reactive or oh crap, I haven't done it in a while, magic happens.
Yeah.
Magic freaking happens. And that's accountability, that's team connection, that's support, like all those things can come around it. And it's not about eating the elephant, it's about taking like the tiny step that moves the needle. So maybe the tiny step is, hey, we need to get out twice a week to these communities. Like it has to be a non-negotiable. What day is it going to be? Let's put a calendar on the wall and circle it, and like that's our day.
Right.
And like now it's like, okay, well, we're just going to build some musculature around this. We're going to just have it as our non-negotiable. And now you took that first step of like, it's now more structured and more strategic and not as organic. And that kind of stuff moves the needle. You know, so it doesn't have to be a gigantic plan around this, but let me give you some more ideas. So I would tell you to really work on the visits becoming strategic. That's an opportunity. Chris, for you, how many realtors come in with clients on these communities that you're working on?
A lot.
So right there is a gateway drug to all these potential relationships because you're crushing the loan, crushing it. And so some of the things that are strategic in here that we can start to play with are, what's my update process for the other realtor? Now you're doing it organically right now. You're updating them. Of course you are. So is it perfectly strategic on how you're updating them? And is it designed to get an appointment with them after the meeting? Meaning these realtors come through. Here's another strategic thing. A realtor comes through. Do you automatically have you or someone on your team run every single realtor up against Mellow Market 360 to see if they're any damn good? Because, are you doing that?
Only on the ones that kind of go a little crazy and I want to see who they are. If they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, so great. So another thought on is just you do it on everybody because all of a sudden even the quiet one does 100 deals sides a year.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy crap, it's a whale. I'm talking to them every week or whatever I'm doing. Like, you know how much money someone would pay to get a whale and be at the chance and be on a transaction with them and be on a chance to talk to them without having a reason to call them? And like, oh my God, people it's worth unbelievable amount. And they're right on you.
Right.
So, and maybe some are duds and you don't need to talk to all of them or pursue all of them. Obviously, you talk to all of them. But this is like strategic.
Yeah, it is.
Because now they're coming right by your door and you get to just crush it with them. So that's another little thought for strategic. Shawna, jumping on partners and recruits for you on strategic, right? This will tie a little bit more into social, but like I always found in my recruiting background that I hated cold calls and I felt terrible about cold calling recruits and I just didn't like it and I wouldn't do it and that's a problem because you kind of have to talk to recruits at some point. But I realized other things I could do. I realized that I could find them on social platforms and I could connect with them. Then I could use the E in Engage on ICE, and every now and then, not as a creep, but every now and then they'd post something, whether it's their own humble brag about their closing or whatever, and I could just be like, congrats.
Yeah.
Or I could just start like showing up. Now they're seeing my face pop in and out. I'm not soliciting them, I'm not harassing them, I'm not telling them stuff. Now they're gonna see my stuff. So I can post about my culture, my team, my wins, and do it in a way that is me, so I don't feel like I'm bragging and whatever. But now I know they're seeing that. It doesn't mean they're watching it, but they're seeing it. I'll give you a funny story. There was a guy that I was recruiting, big whale, big producer, $200 million a year, and never took my calls or texts. Just full on, ignored me. And then all of a sudden, he posted that he had a really good year. I sent him a direct message and just said, man, dude, just want to say congrats. I'm sure everyone's congratulating you, but the fact that you did this in this kind of year, like my best year ever was 185 million and you crushed it. So I know how hard you must have worked to get to this. I just want to say congrats. That he wrote back to me on.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, thanks. Sorry, I've been ignoring your calls. I've been really busy, but just want to say thanks. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm expecting you to ignore my calls. And so now I broke through.
Right.
And so now we could actually start having conversations. And so, but that was because there was a strategy involved. And I was like, I'm going to do this all strategically behind this to build this relationship. So I think with the recruits, it's the same thing. How do you make sure they're in your sphere? How do you make sure you're in tune with what they're doing? And then how do you have intentional outreaches where it's like, I'm not going home until I have X number of intentional outreaches this week. And when I set myself on goals like that, I got them all done on Monday. Because I was just like, now I'm done for the week. I'm out. I can quit. But my intentional outreach weren't just cold calls, because I hated those. But sometimes they were a video text. Sometimes they were a direct message. Sometimes they were just a comment on their Facebook post.
I like it. I like
that
it.
just made a connection.
Okay.
Not that you need to play in this game with the real estate professionals, but like if you want to get more strategic, these realtors that you're working with that are the big dogs, you could consider saying, hey, after the transaction, I'm going to go to their open houses. After the transaction, I'm going to walk in and say, I just want to personally meet you and say, it was great working with you, and I want you to have a face to the name.
I like that.
So now all of a sudden, you got 4 or 5 pop-ins you're going to do that week because you're pulling the broker preview sheet, you're pulling the open house log from the realtor board, and you're looking for those names.
Right.
And then when they're out there, now you go, and now you're even more dangerous. You can even bring them a little closing gift, a little thank you, a little cookie. You walk in and you say, hey, I just want to give you a cookie, give you a water, face to the name. I really loved working with you on this person. And by the way, I'm the best mortgage professional in the world. Like whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
So, and now you can set a goal potentially for yourself of, hey, I'm going to do 3 intentional pop-bys every week.
Right.
And now you look strategic.
Yep.
And like, let's say you don't have a realtor that week, like pull up the list from the other ones you close loans with and go see if they're out. Like just start building relationships with the people. Take all the realtors that you're closing with and friend request them on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, right? Build your network. Let's talk past clients.
Okay.
And again, as we ideate here and come up with this stuff, it's not about now we're going to do everything.
Right.
It's like what we can put all the big ideas on the board and say we'll put them in the parking lot. Like we'll come back to them, but let's integrate this thing into our plan today.
Yeah. Yep.
So past clients. So icing is a strategy, right? Like you want to get them into your social community. So that could be something you integrate into your business plan of like, okay, we're going to print them all out. We're going to find 5 a day. We're going to make it a game, and we're going to go out and grow our social.
Right.
You can go into CRM and say, is the drip campaign what you want? So let me give you an example. You could write, I know this takes work, but you could write or make a video, 12 videos, for somebody that you want delivered every month when they move into their first house. So month 1, what would be the message you'd want to deliver an email? Hey, thanks for using me. It's been a month. I hope everything's going great with your mortgage. Here's what to expect. You're going to have your first payment coming due. Look for these letters. This is what, you can make that message.
Right.
You can store that, and now the CRM will send that message to your clients every first month, every time you close a loan. Month 2, what would you do? Maybe write a newsletter, maybe write a little note that you could store, maybe do another video, and say, hey, it's 2 months since we worked together. Here's some things to consider. And it could be about home improvement. It could be about things to look out for. It doesn't have to be about mortgage. It could be about owning a home's got some complications. Like, do you know where your warranty is? Do you know where, if you don't know where that stuff is, go get, it could just be tips.
Month 11, warranty on new construction. Month 2 could be homestead exemption.
So you could write that in a newsletter, you could film that, and then you can let us store it in the CRM, and now you're 12 months after your close, it's you going out to them.
We're definitely going to create this.
And it's evergreen, right? It's the same message. Because
Yes.
everyone who's going through month 1 and month 2 and month 3, they're having the same experience.
For
So,
sure.
Build this out. That's a strategy that you can personalize some of this stuff with and bring some heart to your guys' world and past clients. But for you too, on past clients, revitalizing your old list can be a really fun thing to do. You can write 12 things to revitalize your old list. And number one could be, you have never heard from me before outside of the normal drip stuff, but here's some stuff. I'm going to start sending you some stuff because I'm really excited and blah, blah, blah. And also be creative. It doesn't have to be, you could share your favorite restaurant. You could, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you could share a tip and trick for young families. You could share so many different things that can go out in this context.
It doesn't have to be a infomercial every time.
No, you can introduce your YouTube channel to everybody and say, hey, I'm building out tips for first-time homebuyers here, so if you have friends and family, forward them my channel. There's so many things you can play with inside of this communication strategy. So that's the CRM.
Okay.
Let's talk about outbound touches. So I have two concepts for you to consider. One's called MIC. Let's talk about MIC,
Okay.
monthly intentional contact. So we talked about personalizing your digital approach. I think that people are missing that all day long. Let's go snail mail.
Yeah.
I mean, there is something about receiving something in the mail that you have to touch with two hands that has to consume your full attention. I heard this guy say that you can't open an envelope holding a phone in your hand. Have you tried to open an envelope with one hand? You can't do it. So you get someone's full attention for a moment. And what a fun thing to do. And by the way, I'm going to put in our realtors on this and our builders. What could you mail people that they could get? Now, I'm going to be the first to admit this costs money. I'm not dumb. But sometimes marketing costs money. We spend a lot of money on marketing.
Yeah.
This is just marketing. But it's personalized to the degree of like, and so here's some funny stuff that I did that'll trigger why I think this is fun to personalize.
Okay.
I had the top 100 realtors in Orange County in my ACT database.
Love that.
And I would send them something physical to their office every single month. And so I would I took a squishy bone stress toy that had my name on it and number, and I said, throw me a bone. I got fortune cookies personalized that says your next loan with Alec Hanson will close early, and it had my phone number on it, because you can get personal fortune cookies. I put it in tubes, and I mailed tubes to their office. So they opened it up, and a fortune cookie fell out. I sent them little tiny eyeglass, like the little screwdrivers, the tiny ones. You never find those. You need them for everything. And I said, if you're getting screwed by your current lender, call me. Now that's a little pre-Dodd-Frank. I actually mailed every single realtor a little brick that I bought from Home Depot, a little one, and it said, let's build a strong foundation together. One of my
like
favorites
that.
was
Yeah.
I bought a 3D box, like a display box. You might put like a baseball in, like a 3D display box.
Okay.
And I taped my business card to the back, and I said, break in case of emergency. So I sent all those
good.
to agents. Now I'm sharing like, but for past clients, I would send them things like a pack of seeds for like springtime, and be like, let's grow together, So I did all this cheeky, lame stuff, and I'm giving you those ideas. Not that you should replicate those, but I want you to think about
I love these
what could
ideas.
you send to people that would make an impact, that would differentiate yourself, that would create headspace. So that they think of you, they remember you. I'll give you one idea that I think everyone should do, and it's called a letter from the heart.
Okay.
We say that we're relational with our clients. So this puts it to the test.
Okay.
I think every quarter, your mailer to the agents you're prospecting and to the customers in your past customer database should be a physical, printed out newsletter from you about what's going on in your life. Now, let me give a little deep context.
Okay.
Okay. I chose to do this because I was writing from a place of, because you chose to work with me, you transformed my life. You gave me the ability to earn an income for my family. You helped me buy my cars. You helped me buy my first house, my condo. You helped me. I got married. Like I was able to go on a honeymoon. You did that because you chose to work with me. So I would send a letter from the heart saying, here's what's going on in my life. I got a dog. We moved. I got married. I bought a car. And I'd weave in stuff like, here's what's going on in the market. And here's kind of just some stuff. Here's what we're dealing with in our business, in our industry. Here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what's going on personally. So it wasn't total like, I went to the gym this morning. And, and it sucked. But I'll tell you what happened. The realtors I was prospecting, some were like, please stop mailing me this. I'm just going to call it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately the tell for me was, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
True.
My past customers, though, they loved it because I'd always put in there, thank you for supporting my business because you're making this all happen for me. And so they were like, I freaking love this kid. Like, this guy is, Alec's my guy for everything.
Yeah.
Because I let the barrier down, I took the tie off, and I was like, I'm a human. Like, you are putting food on my table, so thank you. And here's what's going on. So I would just tell you to consider this. Find what works best for you. But humanizing yourself allows you to get better relationships with people. Starting with vulnerability first allows them to be vulnerable with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that why shouldn't we be real?
Right.
So just think about that for you from a newsletter perspective. If we're talking about physical mailers, this is something that you can consider a market update, a personal update, a little bit of a thank you, hand signed. You can print them all, but hand sign them all. I know that's a pain, but do you?
Yeah.
And it's all, with marketing, I think you're picking up on the theme of this, but it's about effort, intention. Right. It's about intention and effort. People can feel that. They know when they're getting an auto drip campaign email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They know. And they don't like it because they are us and we don't like it.
Not all of them.
Fair.
I've gotten some of the replies like, I can't believe you remembered my birthday.
Yeah, I know.
God damn.
You're like, really?
So, but you want to know a hack on the birthday one? Work with Gary in CRM, but have it so that it sends it out the day before their birthday and have a personal message saying, I know it's not your birthday today, I know it's tomorrow, but I'm making sure I'm the first person to tell you happy birthday.
That's
good.
Because, on the birthday, everyone gives them the birthday Facebook like happy birthday. You get, you get all the BS, non-personalized stuff.
Right.
The day before being like, I know it's not your birthday today, I know it's tomorrow, but you're going to remember that I'm the first person to say happy birthday.
And we can just record a video and send that in. They'll do that instead of the automated one.
Yep. Wow. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk local.
Okay.
Okay.
Getting some good ideas?
Yes.
Get some good stuff here? Local.
For sure.
Great ideas.
This is an under-leveraged. So we compete against internet lenders, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They can't get local. They can't. And then we hide in our offices and don't get local. I'm like, get out. So let's talk about this. I'm going to start giving out random crazy ideas. You start seeing where my headspace is and then use that to kind of figure out what works for you.
Okay.
But there are so many opportunities to create local connection with the people we're trying to influence that I think that a mature origination strategy is doing one a quarter. Okay? That means you have 90 days to market it, right? Then you have 90 days to market the next one while showing off the last one. Local events give you content. You can make content from it. You can film it. You can share it. You can talk about it. So you can repurpose it. And let's talk about one of the old tried and true local marketing strategies, the old lunch and learn.
Yeah.
Okay? I like to call the new one the think and drink because that's more my style. I'd much rather come together and have a cocktail than come to a lunch and learn.
Think and drink.
But
I got a new one.
Think and drinks.
Yeah.
So think and drinks are like, I'm going to invite all the realtors and all my past clients because I have a lot of entrepreneur business owners, and we're going to bring in a subject matter expert, and and the first 2 drinks are on me at the bar. Then you go down to the local bar and you go, hey, I want to give everyone 2 free drinks and I'm going to pay for it, but do you have an event space? You do all this stuff, and then you go around inviting everybody, and if you invite 100 people, 10 come. But the 100 people you invited, you had an excuse to call them, you had a reason to reach out to them. They feel the warm and fuzzy, and when they decline, they feel obligation.
Right.
Just like you open the door for somebody, the next door's there, they're going to open for you.
Yep.
And instead of just marketing them with flyers and products and services and solutions, you're inviting them to something that you think can benefit their business, and so you're just a good person. So I think and drinks are great, especially for your past clients. Don't ignore them. They're insurance salesmen, they're business owners. They'd love to come network and figure stuff out and grow their businesses. So find the local bar, restaurant, put these on every 90 days, and here's the coolest part. Even if only a couple of your friends show up, you were probably going to go drinking with them anyway.
Touche.
You were probably going to go drinking with them anyway. So thinking drinks or lunch and learns are great. I know somebody who built their entire business by never doing a lunch and learn, but only marketing lunch and learns.
Really?
Check this out. So they had a conference space they could use in the WeWork they were in. And so they would create a lunch and learn event. And for first-time home buyers or veterans or whatever, right? They'd create the flyers, they'd create the graphics, and they would just go to town. They'd mail renters, they'd do all this stuff. Lunch and learn, lunch and learn, lunch and learn, free lunch, come in and learn all this stuff. People would be like, oh, I'd like to register for this. They go, great, thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. There was a conflict and I had to cancel the lunch and learn. But can we personally, I'm happy to just do it personally for you. Stop it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Never hosted a lunch and learn, crushed it. Crushed it. Because people were like, oh, I can't attend that, when's the next one? You know what, for you, personal. Personal lunch and learn. So good.
Wow.
Never had to host one.
Genius.
So
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I'm not saying that we need to be that manipulative, but I'm just. but what I do is, what I'm saying is, even if your lunch and learn's a flop, even if you do all this marketing and you go out and you invite all these people and no one comes, what happened though is that all these people got exposure to your brand, all these people got to see what you do and got to be exposed to it, and you're probably going to get leads in another angle. So it's not a failure. Marketing's not a failure. No one called me because I made a video. No shit. That's not how the world works. What happened is the next time you interact, they're like, oh yeah, I watched this. Yeah, like it compounds. Right. We're so into instant gratification. I marketed this lunch and learn for 90 days and no one came. What you did for 90 days was you exposed your brand to a bunch of people and you let them know that you're an educator and that you're in the market and that you care about first-time homebuyers. That's what you did. That built credibility. You're not a failure. You did it. That's a win. It blows my mind.
Right.
So local stuff, charities. Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
So back to this thing that we're multifaceted humans. I had a buddy, like this is nerd talk, but I had a buddy up in Seattle who plays Magic the Gathering, the card game. Okay? I used to play Magic growing up. I still have all my Magic cards, and he still plays.
Okay.
And Wizards of the Coast, the company that makes Magic cards, is in Seattle. And so he's like, I'm going to host a Magic the Gathering tournament hosted by Loan Depot. And the winner's going to get $1,000. And they all came.
Interesting.
And he was the king of the nerds that day. I had a person that races RC cars. Okay? Adult male racing RC cars. And I go, are there kids that are racing RC cars? Oh yeah, the kids race RC cars. They're like, RC cars, right? They're like, they're cars that they go like 30 miles an hour. Like they really race these things. And I'm like, well, go host a Loan Depot tournament with a Loan Depot checkered flag, and the kids can enter and win a Nintendo Switch, hosted by Loan Depot. You're there racing your own RC car anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Just bring it together.
Yeah.
Like people that support local gyms or jiu-jitsu gyms. Go do a weight loss challenge. Go help host a tournament. Sponsored by, you're there anyway. These are the things that you can do locally in the things you already support. I knew a guy that donated some of his time to help kids a running club. Like prep, he was a runner and a mortgage guy, and he would go do running clinics and stuff. And I'm like, why don't you do a plug where they can donate their old running shoes and you can give those to communities in need or other countries, and you can now bring all this together with the fact that you're a mortgage professional and invite people, talk about this, market yourself.
Yeah, genius.
So really, play with local, play with what you care about, play with things you already do. If you're already going to bars and hanging out with friends, turn into Think and Drinks. If you're going to charities, or you've always wanted to kickstart a charity, do some events and support that charity and tie it together. You don't have to punch people in the face with, I do loans. They're going to know.
Right.
But bring community together. I some more random stuff. I had a guy that does a pie tasting contest every year. And people come, and even restaurants, they come and submit their pies. So he invites all his past clients and all his realtors to this pie tasting competition. Great idea. Brings them all together, and he's the guy. I knew chili cook-off.
Yes.
Men go through this weird phase where they start drinking like IPAs, and then they have the IPA phase, and then they have the bourbon phase, right? And then they have the smoked meat phase. So like I don't know where any like that's 100%, right?
Totally.
And then they blend. And it's like I drink bourbon and I smoke meat. Like, that's what I do. So how easy would it be to have the best brisket competition?
Yeah.
Like buy Loan
Yeah.
Depot, and then just talk a bunch of shit and get
Yeah.
everyone fired up, and get all your past clients fired up, and get all the realtors fired up, and come together and have a meet off. Whatever you call
Yeah.
it. Don't call it a meet off. Okay.
Yeah.
Leave it in. We're leaving that in, bro.
It's a working
By
title.
the way, it's a working title.
Yeah.
You know, you pick what works for you. But this is the local stuff that we just don't do. We sit in our offices, and if we just realize that this is marketing, this is prospecting, this is how we drive our business. It's not just cold calling people.
Yeah.
We can do this kind of stuff. The women thing you're in part of, it's fantastic. Keep like bringing in, supporting. It's just great. That's what I mean by local. And if we're a mature marketer, we should be doing one a quarter. For you guys, maybe it's one a year, and maybe it's a branch deal, so you're all in on it, and so you're all inviting, and it's a little bigger. Like I made the comment on Easter egg hunt. I know a loan officer and a realtor that do an Easter egg hunt in a community every single year, and so they market the whole community because the realtor's farming there, and all the kids come, and it's this Easter egg hunt, and all you have to do is put a bunch of Easter eggs out.
Yeah. 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 I love
So
it.
find what resonates with what you personally do from a hobby perspective, from a charity perspective, what you care about perspective, and then wrap it together.
So like in these types of events, it's not about presenting about your mortgage abilities or any of that. It's just you're getting your name out there, you're showing your face.
Absolutely. You can. There's a level of appropriateness and a level of now I feel like I'm going to need your email to come in here. You're like, no, you're not, because you're going to spam me. Like there's a level where it's not real. But like some of the stuff like with adoption, like this charity that you're talking about, like I'd imagine home ownership with family and kids and adopting is a very important part of that equation.
Right.
And so that's what you do. So how do you bring your resources into this to also support what they're trying to accomplish without feeling like you're selling somebody?
Right.
And that's maybe where education comes in, where it's like, hey, we're going to do these things to educate and provide resources without the need to apply with me. So I don't know. You'd have to massage it. But like
Right.
that, there's ways to bring things together where it can be a pure brand play, meaning I'm not asking for anything. I'm not handing out cards. I'm not slipping a card in your pocket. I'm just being a great person. And then it also can be like, well, actually what I do actually fits and helps this. So like VA nonprofits. VA nonprofits are all over here. They're all around here. If that's something somebody really cares about, is supporting veterans, then going to the VA nonprofits and being like, hey, how do we set up education for these vets for VA products?
Right.
Because they don't know. And I don't care if they use me, but how do we set up education where they can learn how the renovation loan works, where they can learn what their benefit is, when they can learn what to maybe they should learn to, like the assumption process for VA right now is very dangerous. Because if a vet lets a non-vet assume their VA loan, then they're still connected to that loan. And if
Yeah.
that foreclosure happens, they're still connected to it. Do they know that? They should know that. Realtors are pushing assumptions right now like
Right.
crazy
Yes.
because everyone wants a 3% rate. So who's warning the vets?
Yeah.
So my point is like, that's the way to kind of connect those things in a more authentic way.
You don't want to force it.
I think that the second you force it, you ruin it.
Right.
It's way better to be open palm with like, come to me, than here's my card into their pocket.
Yeah. Agree.
Makes sense.
Last topic, social media. So, you heard me rant on this all day yesterday. Here's the opportunity. The people you want to influence are there. Your past clients, the realtors, the partners, their friends, their family, they're all on these platforms. I think that if you start icing every day and you start building your community, you'll start finding out what platforms should matter to you. Obviously, we're going to come through and rebrand everything and get it all looking pristine. And then it's about what do you post? And we're going to play with that this afternoon. That's what we're going to do the rest of the day.
Okay.
We're going to come up with what do I say, how do I say it, and how do I get filmed, all that fun stuff. But this is what I really want you thinking about, okay? The game for social media is twofold. Be helpful, okay? And you can add on to that. You can say useful. be useful. But helpful can be a lot of things. Helpful can be, this is the best restaurant in Katy. Helpful can be, you know, I took my kids to this thing over the weekend, and this was, if you have kids, you got to go here. Helpful doesn't have to be, let me explain APR to you.
Right.
Helpful can be a lot of things, and that's where I really want you to think about that. Helpful can also be, I'm bringing optimism into a place that doesn't have a lot of optimism. Let me tell you why this is what you should be thinking about and what's good. This is what's good right now. So make sure you frame that up in a wide context. Second is, don't talk about yourself.
Amen.
Thank God. Hallelujah, right?
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. The third thing is, choose to live in abundance and not scarcity, meaning give away information freely. Don't gatekeep. Don't have this insecurity that they're not going to use you if you gave them the strategy and now they're going to use somebody else. Stop. Don't live that way, because we tie back to like the legacy stuff we talked about, right?
Yeah.
None of you said like I got to close 1,000 loans.
Right.
Like that's not what you care about. So like live that out. And then the last piece that I really want you thinking on social is, I guess any of this stuff really is, what level of impact do you really want to make? Really. Because when you don't do these things, you know you're limiting your impact. Like when you're not showing up for the weekly pop-ins, if you're a ghost on social, like all you're doing is limiting the amount of impact you can make and people you can influence. That's all you're doing. So you got to really land back on like, what am I really trying to do here? And sometimes it's okay to be like, I'm okay where I'm at. Like, there's an old thing in CrossFit that I used to be in front of for a long, long time, where it talks about to get good results in the gym, you have to attack it with a certain level of intensity. If you go to the gym and just kind of mail it in,
Right.
you're not going to get. You have to come to work. But at the same time, it says like every day, like whatever your best is, it's not 100% every day.
Right.
You wake up feeling crappy, had a bad night's sleep, you can't come in with 100%. But what you can come in with is your best effort for that day, given what you got. It's the same with all this. So we're going to build musculature around this. We're going to build new skills. We're going to get new tools and tactics. And then every day you're going to have to come back in and go, what am I committed to for myself, for my family, for my community, for my legacy? Because that's going to be the fuel to push through those. So when I tell you have to post on social media every single day, and you have to ice every single day so that you can have the impact you want, the community you want, people are like, no, thank you. Or they're like, yes, I agree.
It just seems like a lot of work.
I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and so it just comes back to though, like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And you can disagree. You can say, Alec, I don't think going twice a week to visit my community actually gives me the results I want. Okay. What does give you the result you want? It's once a week. Okay. Like we can argue over that, but what you guys have to land on, and especially as a leader, it's, you know, what are the non-negotiables? What do we believe in? What are we holding true? And how are we going to execute? Because I think that at the end of the day, baby stepping these things forward, maybe social media is one video a week, just to get going. Maybe instead of icing every day, I ice once a week, and I just get 5 connections, and then I go back to my life. It's got to be sustainable. You got to build into it. How many people make New Year's resolutions and then dive off? So that's kind of a little bit what we're talking about here, is how to just go a little bit more towards strategic every day. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything in here you want to unpack more or talk more about? Social, local, clients, past clients, partners?
No.
No.
I got a lot of good information.
Same.
So the next step on this is to codify it. Let's get it into a format that we can see. Let's get it written down. Let's get it on a board somewhere. Let's get it on, like, it doesn't mean I have to do everything, but let's get the ideas up where we can really like see it and talk about implementation, talk about what's priority. And what you'll find is you'll be drawn to certain parts of this, and some parts will be like, I'm not really motivated by that. And that's fine.
Right.
Move it down. All we got to do is just take one step forward. Cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. We got some craziness coming up now. We're gonna get ready to start filming content. But we're gonna prep you first.
Okay.
We're gonna understand what to say.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Cool. Ready to go?
Yes.
All right. We gotta do a thing.
Okay. All
You
right.
ready? All right. How was the photo shoot?
Fantastic.
Wardrobe change? Like,
Yeah.
woo! I love it. Okay. This is honestly my favorite part.
It's coming flying out. We're just gonna tape it to you.
Tape it to my chest.
Just tape it. to my
Leave this all in. This is not. Don't edit this out at all. This is 100% what it's like.
We're doing it live.
All right, we're back. Photo shoot. You did it.
Yes.
The cheesy poses. Did you manage? Like, what was the favorite one? Do you have a favorite pose?
Yeah.
Chris, what?
Pretending I'm holding something.
Holding a baby. All right, this is honestly my favorite segment because in 6.5 years or whatever of doing content myself, and then of talking to people and coaching people, and people ask me the same question, inevitably you hear this question of like, well, I just don't know what to say.
Or how to start.
Yes, and so the what to say thing is a myth, in the sense that we know exactly what to say, and we're going to do this exercise, and then you're going to realize all along you've had the power inside, like all along, like you knew what to say the whole time, and then it's empowering because you can empower your team, you can remove this barrier from others, and you have a strategy now. So once we talk about what to say, we're going to end with how to say it. Because that's a whole thing too. You're throwing things at me, oh my God. All I saw was a hand whip across. So once you know like what to say, then we can talk about how to say it. And that's a whole thing too. So this is just gonna be the what part. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go get your favorite color. Oh, they're flying at us. Okay, I got green. Oh my God! Oh, that was amazing.
Perfect. That's my favorite color, but I can't catch.
Okay. So, remember how we talked about the YouTube strategy?
Yes.
And we were saying like playlists and like topics. So I want each of you to take one of these boards. So you get this one, you get this one.
Okay.
And I want you to write topics across the top. So like one top, I'll feed you your first one.
Okay.
This pen sucks. Look at that. Look at that pen.
Oh, it does suck. These are really old markers. Sorry.
So I'm gonna write down first time home buyer, right? I'm gonna feed you your first one. So if you align with that, you can write that down.
Okay.
And then, but then go ahead and just keep going across with more topics.
So my topics aren't that.
But keep going because all the cohorts you serve. What's some of yours? Like write down recruits.
Yes.
That's a major topic, right?
Would I have topics within recruits though?
Well, so let's start with macro. Start write down recruits.
Okay.
Yeah, good VA. And then what's another major cohort? Like who are the VPs of marketing that you work with?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you call them? What would you call that group? Executives or partners.
Partners.
Sure. You know what that means. When you say FAQ, be specific. What do you mean? Like mortgage process?
Yeah, like process questions.
Yeah, so
what
just
is
write
insurance appraisal?
Just write mortgage FAQ. Oh yeah, and so Chris, you can't see green at all. So here you go. You get to start over. So that's amazing. By the way, we do all this in like double speed, so it's just gonna be like just moving super fast.
Problem solving or
For like loan officers? Like
Uh-huh.
okay. So they say like loan officer solutions or loan officer problems. Yeah. Okay, Chris, you're done there. Stop there. We can go more, but just stop there for now. Okay. What else? Who else? Do you have other areas?
Driving. Maybe coaching.
LO coaching? Doesn't that fall under LO solutions a little bit?
No, that I was kind of thinking more of like tips and tricks, right? Try a 25-year term on an FHA if you can't get it to run, right? Like.
Oh, so that'd be like loan solutions versus coaching?
Yeah, probably.
Sure, I'm good.
So just loan. Should I just
Put
do
down
loan
coaching.
solution? Coaching.
Okay, so watch. Once we kind of have these categories, and there's more, right? Like you could have wrote down reverse if you cared. You could have. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. You even can go into consumer education.
Yeah.
You could.
I could.
Like you could because you have a ton of consumer education in your brain.
Yeah.
And getting loans that's not bad either.
Right.
So like that's an opportunity. So now that you have these categories, I want you to write down what you would consider like a micro topic inside these. And I'll give you an example. That somebody that you could explain in less than a minute or around a minute, where there's either a myth or something someone doesn't understand. So like for example, the easiest one here is down payment. Right? There's lots of myths around down payment. First-time home buyers. They think they need 20% down. you can do 0, you can do 1, you have a grant, you can, so that's one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's another one for first-time home buyers? Let's just play this game for a sec.
Minimum credit score.
Yeah, FICO, right? Like what FICO do I need to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Let's see.
How you calculate DTI?
Yeah. How do you qualify, right? DTI. So start writing some down. I'll help you.
Okay.
We'll go into speed mode. And then start for recruits. What are you thinking for recruits?
Dual AUS. I mean, all of the things that we have, right? I'm
Yeah,
just
so
thinking,
features,
like
yeah.
CRM.
Yep. Things that make life better. Things that make people more productive.
Our awesome marketing department.
You got Alec. Yeah, you can put that down. 100%.
Marketing support.
Just focus on first-time homebuyers for now.
Oh, just keep going on this.
Just keep going.
Okay.
So think of things like you got to go really basic because you've done loans for too long, like costs and fees, third-party costs and fees, mortgage costs and fees, APR versus rate, inspection versus appraisal. Like go like what's underwriting? Like just go down to the basics. So other things for recruits too would be, you can do that in coaching. You can do benefits. Our benefits, what they like under recruits would be benefits.
Yeah.
Kind of loan programs, POS sandbox.
Why can't you think of all the things
I
now
know.
when you're on the spot?
The camera's on.
The camera's on.
That's right, exactly.
How to pick a realtor.
Yeah.
Am I doing all of these?
No, but we'll finish with him and then we'll come over to you. So
Okay.
let's help on this one. First time
Okay.
homebuyer. What else on first time homebuyer?
Appraisal.
Yeah, appraisal, inspection.
Appraisal versus inspection.
They're both different.
Yeah.
Like, what's an inspection? Why do I need one?
Oh, yeah,
How do I pay
too.
for it? Do I pay for it through escrow or not? Like, all this stuff, but a person doesn't.
Escrow deposit.
Okay,
Or
so
earnest
down
money.
payment, FICO, DTI, employment, self-employed versus employed.
Yeah.
Docs needed. See, this is why we have a peanut gallery.
Yeah.
100% documentation needed. What should I prep? What should I get prepared? How about like deal killers?
Cash.
Like quitting your job in the middle of a transaction.
Yep.
How about so write down like
Do's, don'ts.
do's and don'ts.
I mean, that could
You
be
can
a
write
whole
down
other category.
bankruptcy, foreclosure. You could do a whole thing on do's and don'ts. Bankruptcy and foreclosure. Can you buy after a bankruptcy? When?
Yeah.
Waiting
Student loan
periods.
debt.
Student loans.
Student loans, good one.
Okay. How long has it been, Mikey? Okay, it's been 6 minutes. Okay? He didn't track it. Mikey didn't track it. For the record. I want Mikey to pop in. I want like a 3D Mikey to come in the corner and be like, I didn't do it, and then pop out. Leave it in. So,
Cut 1 minute for Margaret.
check all this out, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 videos, and probably more if you broke do's and don'ts into multiple videos.
Yep.
This could be probably like 4 different videos or whatever you do. So let's say it's 20 videos, right, in 6 minutes. Now, how fun is this? Let's just map all of these over to a VA loan,
Right.
right?
How does VA treat?
There's similar things, and then there's nuance. Like down payment for VA is a specific video that's got nuance, but it's just a little different. And so now you literally have 20 more videos that you could do for VA right now. How about FHA? Same thing. All these things apply to a whole new topic that you know about, but that a consumer is clueless about.
Yeah.
And then new construction. This is the same list, guys. You see it? And now mortgage FAQ, you might be like, well, let's break down the entire mortgage process. So like, what's disclosure period like? How do I order an appraisal? What should I expect? What happens when initial approval happens? What happens for final approval? What's a CD? What's an LE?
When to lock rate.
When to lock. So you can just write those out. If we wrote them down, it would have been amazing, but you get it. So what we realized through all this, and then over here, which I'm just going to write down current events, there's stuff happening around us right now in real time that are worth talking about. So for example, what's current right now? What's what's happening with interest rates?
Yeah.
That's current. That's like today. Historically, what's going on? What's happening with inventory around here?
Right.
That's localized. That's specific. Those are things that become just kind of current. Like you could talk about it right now because it's happening right now.
Yeah.
New products that come out, like Access One Plus just comes out, or Access Zero comes out, and you're like, okay, that's a new product. We can talk about it right now. So what I want you to consider is creating some kind of like topic or content like repository.
Okay.
Because here's another thing that's interesting. You working on any loans right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. What's a problem on one of those loans that you just are dealing with?
Low appraisal.
So this is what's funny. Like if you're, and you can do this at the branch level, which I really encourage, is when you have your sales meetings, you say, look guys, we're looking for more things to add to our content database. What problems is everyone having? What are we solving? What's going on? And people will be like, well, I have this problem I'm working on. I have this problem I'm working on. And you're like just going, yep, yep, yep. Because that problem, low appraisal, how many other people get affected by a low appraisal in the world?
Right.
So many. And so how you're solving that problem is immediately a video.
Yeah.
And you don't have to name the person. Don't name the person who's like can't qualify. But like does this make sense?
Yeah.
Now in some of these issues, like let's go another direction here. What kind of loans do you really like working on?
Like just in general.
What do you feel the most sense of fulfillment and purpose on when you work with on a certain?
The deal saver ones for our builders.
So like they come in declined,
Right.
and then you save it.
Like just fell apart last minute.
Can you write down why some of these come in, why they're falling apart?
Yeah.
Just put them on the board, just because I want to hear it. What is it?
Usually income.
Like it's calced wrong?
Yep.
Right. Like once they get through.
What else?
Not knowing how to. Oh.
Structured wrong?
Yeah,
Structured wrong? Maybe they don't have the product you have,
Yes.
so product gap.
Yeah.
Self-employed borrowers.
Self-employed,
Yeah.
they screw that up.
They always.
There's also things like, we were just talking about this the other day, that company has an overlay we don't have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overlays.
So like, I was declined, my FICO is 640. You're like, you can get the loan.
Yeah.
They're like, well, they told me I had to have 680. You're like, no.
That's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Overlays?
Yep.
Okay, just stop there for a second. So there's passion topics that you'd like star, where it's things like, maybe you don't get excited about talking about how the inspection process is going to go down, but it's still worthy of a video. It's probably worthy of being in a playlist for first-time homebuyers, so we can tackle our YouTube strategy right here, and then we can also take that piece of content and we can start sharing it on the other places. But like on passion topics, maybe you're going to talk about this every week. Every week you're going to make a video on this because people are screwing it up.
Right.
Because here's something you got to hear on this. Just because you make a video and you put it out in the universe doesn't mean anyone hears it.
Right.
And so you make a video saying, stop this. You guys, you're doing it wrong, and you make this great video. Every consumer that's going to bump into this probably hasn't seen it yet. So that means on passion topics, you can bring these up every week with another conversation around it, and keep sharing because what you're doing is you're going to be attracting clients that are facing the situations, which is the area you like. It's the people you want to help.
Right.
So be thinking on this as like passion topics, because you can go back to those all the time. But does this make sense?
Yes.
So if you have a content database repository, and every sales meeting and month, you're adding more and more to it, whether they're current events or stuff you've forgotten from here, all of a sudden you realize there is literally infinite things to talk about.
Yeah.
You have more in your brain and more in your ears than you possibly can imagine. You just got to get dumb again and be like, how do I get a loan approved? Or what's an appraisal do? Or what do I do with a low appraisal? Gosh, I mean, we could write down renovation loans and you can do a whole thing on that. And all you're doing in this process is you're educating, you're showing up in someone's feed. So you're kind of billboarding yourself, right? I'm talking about like someone's driving down the street and they see your face on a billboard. You're just becoming a billboard. And you're making the impact you want to make.
Right.
And you're creating human connection because they're seeing you and they're hearing you talk. So all these secondary, tertiary benefits are happening from you just talking about what you already know all the time. So whether it's a little black book that you just write your ideas in as you're solving problems, It's a Google Drive that everyone's just putting topics in every month. It's a whiteboard you put on the wall, and everyone just adds stuff to it over time. Like whatever it is, you start realizing. And then it's an inspiration board. Mm-hmm. Because you're like, all right, I got to make some content this month. The hell do I want to talk about? Yeah, I'm going to talk about this. Yeah, this just came up. I got to talk about that. This just came up. You know, someone was self-employed. I got to talk about that. Student loans came up, and you can get more inspired.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do yours some more. Let's kind
Okay.
of turn a little bit, and let's get
Okay.
you turned so you're not just staring at the wall. All right, so let's go back into recruits and benefits.
Okay.
So we've got you got technology, CRM, marketing support, loan programs, sandbox, benefits. How about like the underwriter loan officer relationship? The quiet hours of death. How about different ways to grow their business? So you've got like Loan Advantage, Lender Express, you've got
yeah.
MSAs, you got
things.
Team MSAs,
Yeah.
you got Mellow Market 360, like data that they can access and see stuff.
Yeah.
DPLP.
Oh, you got DPLP program,
Oh, Yoda.
Yoda, huge.
Yoda. What else, what did I miss? Loan Advantage, Lender Express, Mellow 360, DPLP, Yoda. Oh, MSAs.
Yeah, MSAs, desk rents, Team MSAs.
Yeah. Lots
Yeah.
of- no, we don't talk about
So let's go back to partners a little bit here.
Okay.
This is like so benefits of working with Loan Depot, things you do. What do you think are topics that they care about, or what do they care about?
A lot of times I'm sharing with them the programs, the new programs that came
Okay,
out.
so like you guys done like programs,
Uh-huh.
which you can kind of underneath that it would be like Access 1, Access 0, right? It would be like a list of programs.
Yep.
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 What else are you talking about?
Like MBS Highway, when we do a rent versus own comparison
Cost of
or the
waiting.
cost of waiting worksheet, we train their salespeople on that.
Okay, so write down write down MBS or cost of waiting,
Cost of waiting.
rent versus own.
Rent
Yep.
versus own.
What about like long-term locks,
Uh-huh.
builder-centric
Standard rate
solutions,
lock.
standard rate locks?
Underwriting is something we talk about a
Yeah,
lot.
underwriting
Yeah.
culture. How about your background and experience, like depth of knowledge? Like, are you good in this space? Do you understand this space? So it's like your own personal like expertise.
Yeah.
You ever talk about
that? No.
They don't challenge you on like, do you know builder?
Yeah, I mean, it comes up every builder meeting talking about I used to work that account with so-and-so.
Oh, true. I guess it's not natural, but
Just write down expertise.
okay. I don't like talking about myself.
We'll talk about, but there's a way to do it that doesn't be like, oh, look at me, I'm great. but like, would you agree that people want to work with confident people?
For sure.
Yeah. So you got to be able to like check that box.
Yes.
Without being like bragging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do they care about? Closing time
Uh-huh.
or docs early?
Communication.
Okay. Comm strategy.
Pipeline management.
Yeah.
Pipeline
Pipeline
management.
management.
Okay. Let's move over to LO solutions.
Okay.
So you worked on income calc, meaning helping LO calc income.
Yes.
Okay. What else?
Wow. There's lots of stuff here. Share with me, Abe.
Like, the question, what does Shawna do for you?
Send links to Yoda.
So how about advocate?
Yes.
How about advocate? How about remove barriers? Remove hurdles. Help with structuring. I mean, you put on income calc, but that's one piece of structuring. Yep.
Escalation.
Escalation management. That's advocate a little bit, but same. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So accountability.
That might be coaching,
Sure.
but
Sure.
yeah.
Put it over there.
Yes.
Structuring. We got structuring.
Yeah. Been spending a lot of time on this.
Okay, and that's fine. So let's look at coaching for a minute. Let's keep where it's easy train of thought. After accountability, what else you got?
Looking at the people I'm coaching right now.
What does she do? What does she provide from a coaching perspective?
Marketing strategies like business development.
Biz dev. I was going to say biz dev for sure. Yeah, I mean, you're out there biz deving right here for them. What else?
Expectations.
Setting expectations.
Buyer and builder.
How to set.
Yeah, so marketing support. I would put down business management, because that was kind of expectations, but like how to manage your business,
Right.
how to run your business. I would put down experience again, or expertise, because you bring 20 years of stuff that you've forgotten. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've forgotten more things than people know, type of thing.
Yeah.
How about put down culture, but like underneath it, like as a subtopic, like how do you define your culture? How do you define like the intangibles? Like is it, like for example, is it a place where people are growing and learning? Is it a place where people are having fun? Is it a place where people feel connected? Is it a place where people feel safe? Like those are all example words that if they work, take them. But like,
Yes.
what like how would your team describe your team cohesion? You know, do people share ideas and collaborate?
Very
Or-
much so.
Yeah, so like,
Like the Monday, Thursday calls.
Yep.
I'd put down Monday, Thursday calls. Just, I mean, like, that's an example of it living itself out. You know, you can put down collaboration, you can put down connectedness, you can put down supportive.
And that would work for the recruiting side too.
Yeah.
Of course it does. So we'll pause for a second on all this.
Okay.
So these, like, actually, I want you to put down another thing here, another topic right here. We'll just take up some space. That says bad.
Bad.
Put down bad.
Just write a.
And under bad, just put down everyone's name. No. Under bad, I want you to write like the things you're aware of in this industry that you're committed to not becoming. Meaning, what are some of the other cultures or things out there that are bad? Lazy teams. Yep.
Yes men. Just always saying yes and then figure it out later.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say that like people who have a bad reputation in the market
Yeah.
because they don't close well or they don't communicate well, they're not transparent, right? More examples of bad culture, you know, would be the team that doesn't collaborate. Right? It's the opposite of this. It's they're siloed. They're
what would
competing like inappropriately with each other versus like pulling each other up.
Right. Right.
There's like backbiting or infighting.
Yeah. Backstabbing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Gossiping.
But yes.
Toxic.
Yeah. Some more toxicity in there.
Hiding from problems.
Yes.
Hiding. So the reason that I threw up the bad for you in this process is I think it's helpful sometimes to reflect against the things that you're not. Because you know you're talking about things you are, and then but like you can get stuck, and then you go, well, what am I not? And then that can be helpful in kind of reframing some of this stuff. Because if we go to make content on this, sometimes it's easy to start with the negative reflection. So sometimes it's easy, like from a personal story perspective, like Phil did this really well, saying like, look, I've worked at companies where everyone was siloed, there was no transparency, and nobody grew. And I'm committed to not like so like. He shared that first personal story. Goodbye.
Bye.
Leave it in. So, so sometimes starting in the negative to share a personal story, not to crap on somebody personally, is a good way to kind of come back to this.
Yeah.
Without feeling like I'm building the best culture in America.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, pal. But you can say like, no, look, I've lived in a place where people hid and gossiped and I hated it, and it hurt my career. And I'm just sharing that because if you find yourself in an environment like that, like that's not here. That's not what we're about.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like so.
Yeah.
Okay, so does this make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this and again back to the passion points. If you find certain parts on this where you're like, man, I'm always talking about this right now. It seems to be because in our market we're dealing with right now, it's a harder market.
Yes.
There's more challenges.
Yes.
Affordability is a problem. There's
Yes.
harder loans, which means this is coming up more and more because that's what the market is. So talk about it more and more. And in fact, I would say that both of you should be as bold as like give the answers.
Yeah.
Be like, let me tell you how I'm solving this for somebody right now. If this is you, this is how I'm solving this. And knowing that like somebody out there's like, damn, I'm dealing with that. And they call their loan officer and they're like, why the hell aren't you solving it like Shawna just said I should solve it? Like, you know what? I'm just calling Shawna. So.
I did not want to be the person that's given away the answers until you said how you said it today. That was like an eye opener. Yeah.
You know, you got to live in abundance.
I know.
I'll tell you, like there was a friend of mine who was a loan officer, and he started making a ton of content. And I was like, oh, good for him. He's making a lot of content. He's at another company. And I called him up one day because we're family friends, and I was like, dude, you've been like making all this videos. Like, what's changed? He's like, I'll tell you, there's a competitor in my market, and she makes tons of content. And I was working with a client, and they called me and they said, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to go with her. And he's like, oh, you know, is it Ray? Like, what can I do? Like, you know, we've been talking for so much, we've been working together, and they're like, you know what? Honestly, we've just been watching so many of her videos, like we feel like we owe her. She's educated us so much that we're just going to use her. That's verbatim. And he was like, never again. And he started making a bunch of videos.
Wow.
Because that's a rare piece of feedback that people don't get. They just go somewhere else. And you're like, why'd you not use me? And like, they don't really tell you because it's awkward.
Right.
But this is a good example of like, if you're living in abundance and if you're just giving the answers out, like it builds goodwill.
Comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So let's put you back over here. We're gonna come over here now. I know I kind of talked on this, but we got to talk about how to say it
Yes.
Okay.
and how to write scripts.
Yes.
Because we're gonna film after this.
Gosh.
We're gonna film. So there's the best way to think about this is to break this into 3 parts. Okay, 1, 2, 3. To write scripts.
Okay.
You can tell I have terrible handwriting. The first, we're going to call our intro, but other language that you'll probably hear, and as you research this stuff, you'll hear of hook, like catch, right? And then we're going to go into story, experience, proof point, and then we're going to go into close or call to action. Okay? So this is our format. So once you understand the format and you pick a topic, we can back into it and then we can come up how to speak. So let's talk about why the format is important. When you're making longer form content, like a YouTube video, people are coming to watch a longer piece of content there. Like they're choosing to watch it. When you're talking to somebody in a reel or an Instagram feed or in TikTok, they're swiping and they're looking for instant gratification or whatever they're doing. And so in order to hook them, you have to tell them what you're going to say. You have to tell them the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Get to the punchline first.
Yes, and so which is very abnormal because if you think about normal human conversation or normal sales approach, the normal sales approach, if you come in and we're going to talk about a loan and I'm going to sell you, is I first start by getting to know you and introducing and asking you questions. And then I also am prepared to show you my expertise.
Right.
Because you might ask questions like, how long have you been in the business? And have you done loans at this community a lot? And so I'm prepared to show you my experience. And so those are very normal, the normal flow. But on social, people are going in the normal flow. They get up there and they do things like, hi, I'm Alec Hanson. Okay, I know you're Alec. It says your name, dumbass. And then you go, I'm the chief marketing officer at Loan Depot. And they're like, I don't care at all about any of that stuff. Swipe.
Right.
And then I go, I've been in the business for 22 years. Gone. But we start by kind of like introducing ourselves, qualifying ourselves before we go to the sell, because that's how we do it in life.
Yes.
That's not how these platforms are organized.
Makes sense.
So don't make that mistake. And even today, X years later, I'll still get on and be like, oh, I'm Alec Hanson. And I'm an idiot. So give them the solution or the answer or scare them, and I'll talk about what I mean by that, because there's a way to do that wrong and right.
Okay.
And give them a reason to watch this. So let's do an example.
Okay.
And we'll do an easy one, and then we'll get to more complex stuff. Down payment. Okay? What's the biggest myth about a down payment?
You need 20% down.
You need 20%. What's the truth?
You don't.
You don't. And so what would be a hook?
You don't need 20% down to buy a house.
Correct. Now, a more, like, if you want to keep getting more nuanced or more sophisticated or whatever, you can say things like, if you're putting 20% down, you're making the biggest mistake of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I use scary language. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. Is it the biggest mistake of your life? Probably not. So that might be too far extreme for what you want for your brand. But there are loan officers saying that out there and are getting a lot of attention. And so I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying pick your lane and pick how much what you want to say. But you could also say, like, I can show you how to buy a house with 0% down.
Yeah.
Or here's why buying a house with 0 down could be the best decision for you. So all of a sudden, the point of this intro is that it's one sentence, it's within 3 seconds, and you're telling them exactly what you're going to talk about. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Now, there's weaker hooks and stronger hooks, and that's just part of the game. Saying something like, you don't have to put 20% down to buy a house, let me show you how. Or if you put 20% down, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Both of those might have different impacts on the audience, and it might attract or connect to more people. So hooks can be stronger or weaker, and that's an art, not a science. Right. But as long as you understand that you got to tell them what the answer here. So let's do another example. Okay. Let's say we're talking about turn downs. Okay? And someone was turned down for their income. They were told they don't make enough income. And so you can picture how they're feeling. Discouraged, disappointed, right? What would you, if they were scrolling TikTok, what is the one sentence you'd want them to hear?
All lenders are not the same. It's just
yes,
because we get a lot of.
But that's over here. You jumped to here.
Okay.
What do they need to hear?
That there's hope.
Yes. And so the language of hope for them would be what?
Something like even if you were declined.
Yeah. So first you have to tell them that you see them. Yeah. Meaning you have to say, if you or if you were declined for income to buy a new house. Listen, there's a solution here. Don't swipe away or don't hang out with me for 2 minutes. Right? So you have to first see them and address them and then hit them with the point. Because if you say there's hope for you to get a loan, it's like you haven't said who. Hope for who? It's this group that there's hope for. So let's do another one with overlays. Okay? So I was declined because I had a 620 FICO, but you could do the loan. And that's who I am, and I'm scrolling Instagram. What would you say?
If you've been denied due to credit score, not being 620 on an FHA, there's still hope. I mean,
yeah,
or
close.
Were you declined for a mortgage because of your credit score?
Yeah.
Do you say the 620?
You could. So you can get specific, or you can say there's a tragedy happening in the American home. Oh God, I had it. I lost it. There's a tragedy happening for home buyers in America today. People are being turned down for overlays that don't exist. And if you have a 620, you can probably buy a home. And then you can go to the next part. So you kind of cue it up in different ways. And again, this is part of the art. And so I don't expect, you could make a video right now with not having done this before and just doing it and just be like, you don't need 20% down to buy a home.
Right.
That's fine. That's great. It doesn't have to be the most incredible right hook you've ever heard in your life that shocks the world. But you still follow the formula.
Right.
And then you'll get better. Because this is kind of the walk, crawl, run thing. Crawl, walk, run. So you make a video that says you don't need 20% down to buy a house, and you go into it, and then you realize later that you could say man, if you're putting 20% down, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Let's really talk about the solutions. And you're like, well, that works a lot better. So you can learn that as you go, or you might learn that when you said that and you called everyone idiots, they didn't like it. I'm serious. You have to learn.
Yeah.
There's a statement that I've held on to forever, which is be a student of your own experience. So as you do things, watch.
Yeah.
And be like, good, bad, tweak, not tweak. So let's go into the second part. You kind of have this part down, and we're going to actually write scripts. You're going to pick 3 to 5 of these, and we're going to write scripts right now, and we're going to film them.
Okay.
So don't get ahead of yourself, though. Let's talk about this part.
Yeah.
So this is, let's go back to down payment.
Okay.
You don't need 20%. I'm going to use the normal hook or the weaker hook. You don't need 20% down to buy a house. The story would be, look, I know for decades that we've all been hearing you need 20% down to buy a house. and it avoids mortgage insurance. And so people think it's the only way to go forward. But I've been doing loans for 20 years. And I'll tell you, that's not the best solution for everybody. We've helped clients close with 10% down, 5%, 0% down. It really depends on your situation and what's best for you. So come get educated. Call me, direct message me, whatever I can do to help. I'm happy to give you the information you need to help you on your home buying journey. So after you hit them with it, you don't need 20% down to buy homes, then you can go into, here's my experience, here's my proof point, here's my story that shows you what I'm talking about. And then you kind of land the ship saying like, look, I know I didn't solve all the world's problems with this video, but I'm just here to help if you need anything. Let me know. Make sense?
Yeah.
So in like that scenario, do you think it's better to keep it kind of broad and not super?
You got a minute, right? So you gotta give them the hope, the proof point or the hope, but you don't have to give them every detail.
Right.
In fact, you shouldn't give them every detail, because what do you want them to do? You want them to call you. Because their specific situation, like you could go on a tangent. Well, if you're like this, but if you're like this,
Yeah.
and then you're 17 minutes later and nobody's there in the room with you.
Right.
So let's pick one of these over here, and let's play this as another example and get you guys more prepared. Which one do you want to pick?
Jeez. I don't know.
Income calc.
Okay, income calc.
Okay.
Okay,
Why are loan officers screwing this up?
because I don't know how to calculate income correctly.
Correct. So what would be your hook?
Was your loan declined due to income?
Well, who's your audience? Who are you talking to?
Loan
Are you talking to loan officers?
officers.
Okay. So you know your audience is LO. And what do you want to tell them? What's your hook?
Can you not figure out how to get this loan approved because of the income, or was your loan declined in underwriting due to income, or
What's your call to action or solution? What's your call to action? You want them to call you?
yes?
Okay. So here's some thoughts. There's nuance when you're talking to loan officers versus customers. Customers are almost easy, like call me, I can help you, I'll give you a loan, right? Like it's a very thing. You're almost doing what we call surrogate coaching, where you're trying to help somebody who doesn't work for you,
Yeah.
and let them know that that's who you are as a leader, so that they have this propensity to be like, well, I want to come work for you, man, you're helping so many people. So one pro tip then, I always call them pro tips, you could be like, if you're a loan officer, you should never do an income calculation alone. What do you mean? What does that mean? And then you go over here. Look, I've been doing lending for 20 years, and I've never seen more loans turned down for incorrect income calculations in my career than now. We're in a hard environment. Rates have gone up. It's a challenging borrower environment, and your ability to calculate income is going to determine your level of success.
Yeah.
And so in my 20 years of doing this, my recommendation is you never income calculate alone. Grab a mentor, grab a friend, grab your boss, and do it together before submitting. Put that best foot forward so that you're not messing up your loan later. Right? So now you provided surrogate coaching, you gave them a tip on how to manage their business, and then you can even say, look, I am partnering and co-underwriting income with my loan officers more than ever before because it's such a hard market. So make sure you have somebody on your team doing the same thing. And if you don't, like that's the whole point, right? Like you don't have to say it, because it's like, because they might go, well, God, I've called my boss and they suck. They can't help me at all. And you're like, so you're just kind of, and maybe your close isn't a call to action, and it's okay for closes not to be a call to action. You don't have to say call me. You can just say, so I've been doing it more than ever, and if you're not income calculating with a mentor or a boss or a friend, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
And that's just what I've been seeing in my 20 years. So take it and run.
Yeah.
Like that's my close. Right. Take it and run. And then they're like, oh, wow, that was awesome. That was super helpful. So let's pick another one, and you'll get the vibe of this more.
Okay. I totally want to do that one. That one was
good.
perfect.
We're going to do that one.
That's
Great.
exactly what is happening
I know.
right now.
Weird.
Weird, huh?
Have you been in a bad environment before?
Yes.
In your career? What was bad about it? I don't need names.
I had no support from my manager.
Great. And so what did that look like in the day-to-day?
I had to figure it all out myself.
Okay. What's the hook?
The hook is Does it sound bad though? That
Say
like
it.
say you're competing with your own manager?
Oh man, if you believe that in your heart, so you're talking about producing managers.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You go, I have something controversial to say. That's your start. Oh my God, what is it? He goes, in this market, as hard as it is, I don't think you should be competing against your own manager. And go, look, it's a personal opinion. Now we're over here. Look, it's a personal opinion, and people disagree with me. But I've been in environments where I competed against my branch manager. And I found myself stifled. I found myself in a position where I couldn't grow. I found myself reaching out to somebody who didn't have time for me. And maybe it's just because that person wasn't a great manager. You can give a little give back,
Right.
like a little concession. Maybe it's just because they were shitty. But that's not. So I've chosen to run my business like this.
Yeah.
And what do you think? And that's your call to action, is a question. Love to hear what you think. So, you shared an opinion.
Yeah.
That's scary. But it's also like, it's okay. It's okay for you to have an opinion that says, I believe this, and you can disagree with me, because you can give space in your story that it's okay to disagree with me. Like, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just saying an opinion, and someone out there might agree with you. And someone out there might disagree, but I bet you get a lot of nodding heads from some loan officers. I bet you get a lot of people watch that and go, I kind of agree with that, and look at their manager. And they're not going to comment, they're not going to say anything, but they're kind of like, damn, I agree. And now you built a little more reputation with them, a little more connection with them. So it's not a bad video. You just got to make sure you do it tactfully.
Yeah.
But it's what you believe. Like, you're allowed to talk about what you believe, because that's what you're creating in culture.
It is what I believe.
What's another one? You want to do another? Let's do another one for Chris.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Sure.
Trade places. Shift over here. You want to try one of these? Want to tackle one of these?
Yeah, why don't we do...
How about something for new construction? You do a ton of that. What does somebody who's going to buy new construction for the first time need to know?
how's the process different?
Absolutely. So what would be our hook, catch? What would be our warning or threat that we're trying to call out?
I don't know why I'm struggling with these hooks so much.
No, because you're not used to doing them yet. That's why we're doing these repetitions. Like, I've been doing this for 6 years now, so I'm a little better. But like you haven't thought like this before, so it's okay to be like, I don't know what the hell. But so let me prompt you a little bit.
Yeah.
So what is different about the new construction process than the resale process?
Usually there's a lot more time involved.
Okay. Time. What else?
There's price changes. You know, you go through a whole different process on the home side itself.
Meaning you might go in at this
contract
price
at this price and end up 50,000 higher.
because you do a bunch of upgrades,
Interest rates fluctuation.
Yeah, rates fluctuate.
and then rate change.
You got to maintain your credit and income.
So one of the coming down here to the scare them, which is this is a good pivot into the scare them, which is there are threats in our business that for consumers that you're kind of looking out for them on, and you got to warn them on. And so you can start with a hook on warning them. Before you buy new construction, you got to pay attention to these 3 things,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
That sounds great.
it could be 4 things. It could be 1 thing. It could be
Right.
before you buy new construction, you better pay attention to this right now, because if you don't understand this, you can blow up your whole deal. So, for example, going back to my 3 things, you could be like, if you're buying new construction, pay attention to these 3 things, or else you're going to have a bad day. You know, the first thing we have to talk about is time. Right now, we're over here.
Right.
New construction can take 6 months, and in that time period, lots of things can change. For example, so you got to be prepared to live somewhere. Well, make sure your housing situation is taken care of for 6 months.
Right.
So if you're selling a house and going to buy new construction, that's a consideration you got to manage. Second thing is the price of your house can change. You might decide to put some upgrades in halfway through the process that change the price. So you got to be working with me on a constant basis to make sure that your payment and everything else is right where you still need it to be. And third, rates change every day. You got to make sure you're locked in for the entire 6-month period and have an extended rate lock, or have solutions for that if that's what you choose, or else you're going to have a rate that you're going to think you're locked in, and you're going to have a whole different rate that could make your payment unaffordable.
Right.
So, call to action close. Call my ass, right? The scare them one the threat one is okay as long as you find the line you're willing to dance on it, because there are some people that get really extreme. And they're like, if you don't do these 3 things before you buy a house, you're screwed.
Right.
And you're like, well, okay, what the hell? That's too much. Like,
Yeah.
what are you really talking about? So, but definitely it's okay on like the new construction stuff to say, like, be careful when buying new construction. If you don't have the ability to lock in your rate for a long period of time, you could lose your entire house. And then people are like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does rate extends mean? I don't know what that means. Let me listen to the rest of this video. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Good one too.
Yeah.
let's do one more as a team, and then we're gonna get off camera, and we're gonna have you start writing scripts for these.
Okay.
I'll help you,
Okay.
and then we're gonna film them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so pick one.
Okay.
What do you guys want? Let's do new construction.
Improved, unimproved taxes?
Ooh,
It's a common one.
that's a good one.
What's the gotcha?
Your payment could double.
Yeah, are you
Because your taxes
being
can double?
set up for failure because your taxes are going to increase? in
Oh my
validity?
God, what a hook. Holy crap, do you hear it? Are you getting set up for failure because your taxes are gonna double your payment?
Yeah.
That's I don't. Thank you. Thank you. So here's the plan.
Chris,
okay?
you got it.
We're gonna do our little team thing, and
Okay.
then you're gonna get on here and you're gonna write out your hook, and then we're gonna talk about how you're gonna do the story experience line, because that needs to be I want to see if we can get you to do that more free flowing,
Okay.
Okay.
and then we're gonna go film.
Okay.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Cool.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Huzzah! Don't calculate income alone.
Perfect.
If your payments weren't set up correctly or you weren't prepared for this change,
You don't want to hold the camera down below your face. We're back. Did you survive?
we did it.
I don't know. Did we do it?
Yeah.
So,
I'm tired though.
we are good, and you know what? I feel like that's like the sign of like a good day's work is that like we're tired, and these are long days for those of you that are watching like the short episode of like 20 minutes. Like it has not been 20 minutes. It's been a lot of work, and we do release the director's cut, which is full unedited. Like if someone wants to go on along the journey, they can watch the whole freaking thing.
Oh wow.
But let's just do this. So, was what happened today what you were expecting at all? I'm curious. Pieces of it. What's your take?
I thought it honestly was easier than I expected.
Oh God,
And by easier,
what a champion!
I thought it would be tougher to figure out what to say and how to say it. And
Oh, yeah.
that part kind of came a little bit easier.
Good.
With some help, obviously, but coming up with the content was not as much of like as many brain farts, I guess, as I thought there was going to be.
You know, that's tremendous feedback, because I think people can take a lot of hope from that, because a lot of the barrier is, well, I don't know what to say.
Right.
And so just you saying that right there, I think it gives people like an impression of like, oh, maybe it's not. What about you, Shawna? What did you expect today?
Well, I had no idea I was going to come in and be doing this all day today. So it was a lot. I learned a lot. Like I said, the being honest and given all the information instead of withholding information.
Yeah,
That's
a good takeaway.
Yeah, that was a really good takeaway for me. But it was good. It was, I think it was easier having each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw some of that too, so that makes it fun for me too, which was like you guys played off each other well, you helped each other.
Yeah.
That was a good learning thing for me too, because this is the first time I did it with 2 people, and so I was wondering how it would go.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it went good.
I do too.
Yeah.
So just to kind of frame up a couple things as like opportunities, next steps, thoughts. You know, we started the day with trying to continue that like level setting of things that matter to you and why you do what you do and what do you hold as important, because that's what we want to undertow. Everything that you're doing needs to like fall back on like that foundation. And so don't lose sight of that, because we get stuck in our business all the time, and then we don't like that whole thing of like people work with people because of why they do things, not because of how they do things. I think, Chris, one of my big takeaways for you that I experienced is just your level of empathy and care for customers, even in the content you wanted to talk about, showcases what you care about. And so the more you can stay in that space and really just be empathetic and help in your content strategy, like the more your true self will shine through and the more impact you'll make. And Shawna, too, some of the fun stuff that I saw on you specifically was like trying to wrestle around with what your real voice is. Mm-hmm. Like that whole should I be controversial or not thing was rad, because it was, and you didn't see any of that, but it was rad because it was like, well, like you do believe some of this stuff. You care, you have opinions, you have things that matter to you, but how do you deliver that in a way that is true to you? Mm-hmm. Is right on the line, I think, that you should be playing. It's just right there in the realness of it.
Okay.
And both of you crushed the videos at the end. You got so much like more confident. You did. And so as we looked at that marketing section where we talked about organic to strategic, when you talked about doing this together was easier than alone, there are so many opportunities to just continue to level up with how you work as a team, how you take on new strategies together, whether it's local events or more intentional pop-ins or content days, where you just take the data and the repository of all these ideas and you film together. It just builds culture, it just builds momentum, and it'll attract people too who know they need to do it too.
Yeah.
So if you had to share like one or two things that you took away from this today, what stands out for you? Let's share it so people can kind of realize in the journey of this, in like not necessarily like what like you learned, but like what stood out?
Being strategic.
I like that.
Like we've already talked off.
Of course.
Like, okay, we need to come back and have our planning days that we follow through with this.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one thing that resonated a lot with me kind of going through the process is realizing how much I think of a perfectionist I'd been trying to be.
Totally.
And I was using that as an excuse to not do it, right? Because you make it into a bigger deal than it really needs to be. Or if you're trying to make the perfect video, perfect script, and so you don't do anything.
Yep. I love both of those. And my comment as we kind of like, wind down here is, man, it's all about the baby steps.
Yeah.
It's not about the big steps.
Right.
Because the big steps happen after 20,000 baby steps. It's just looking back and being, okay, how do we get a little more strategic and in the littlest way where it doesn't become this barrier, I get rid of my excuses, and that's a great takeaway. And so just like figure out what the baby steps are and then figure out how to make them fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because there was a lot of fun parts today where we were just goofing around and like, I think it's just all there for the taking. And so many people aren't building it, and you guys can build it. You guys can build it.
Yeah.
This is the step.
We did it.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what we have to do now to end.
Okay. Oh, our thing.
The cheesiest thing ever. Are you ready?
Ready.
1, 2, oh!
Did you know that
You can protect your pipeline with
we were able to get them qualified?
Loan officers, let's be honest. When is the last time you logged into your CRM?
Brand new.